You know, there come that day when I left high school and I've been bullied so much, and in the end, it don't hurt no more. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't hurt no more. So you think, well, why not throw one? Rather than just taking them, why not throw one? I mean, he was a champion boxer in the army. He was a mercenary, you know. He can kill with his bare hands. Believe that. And because I'm screaming in pain, get him off me, you know. And I think that just protection mode come in then.
Yeah.
Then that's my kids. My kids are in the house. Do you understand me? So now you're doing it in front of my kids. Yeah. Now the big switch is gone. Have I done bad things? Yeah. Have I gone to the extremes that most everyday people wouldn't go to? Yeah, I have. If you stop me getting this IPP sentence, get me back to my son, I promise I'll change my life about. So anyway, I've knocked on the door and I've gone like that, and as the door opened, I've gone like that, and his wife answered. This isn't about me anymore. I'll give in. I've been a donut. I'm not no one great. You know, I'm going to end up fucking my whole life up. Spending the rest of my life in prison like my old man, and be a, you know, for what? I'm the biggest mug in the jail. I ain't earning a tenner.
When you get nicked and gone out of a room, I don't want to be that responsible. And then your kids, exactly what Lee just said about his kid, look how it killed him, crushed him. That's what people got to realise when you play these games. People say this on YouTube and that on YouTube.
Sticks and stones.
Yeah, sticks and stones can't break up my names, can't hurt me. Sticks and stones can't break up my names, can't hurt me. The knowledge you get out of these two is actually unreal. Don't forget to go to Elliott and Attwood University. You'll come out with a top degree.
Here we go again, folks. Lee is here today to tell his story with...
Listen, I ain't here. I don't know if we're dancing, I ain't got a clue what's happening. He rates me into it every time and he just does my note. I'm having none of it. I don't podcast no more. No, you're having
He's here to fill the gaps.
Don't say it like that. Why are you laughing?
Sorry. So tell me, Lee.
You should tell me in such a gentle and sadistic way. Yeah, go on.
What's the gorgeous George story? A lot of people, perhaps the Americans and stuff.
Right, okay. So my dad's name or nickname, as he got called, was Little Legs and Gorgeous George. Okay, because obviously he was quite good looking back in the day, or whatever the girls used to be after him, quite a woman's man. And he was first in the army. He was in the paratroopers, Regiment 2. And then after he left the army, he became a mercenary, doing whatever he had to do as a mercenary. And then after leaving the army, his skills were obviously obtained by the criminal underworld, let's just say. So that's where it started, and he went on to do lots of big heists, if you like, bank robberies and stuff like that. Knows most of the old-time famous gangsters. He's not so well known because he was always keeping himself on the low, if you like, because he was still in the game. He's only coming to light more now through the people he knows and podcasts and stuff like that, you know.
What are these photos?
These photos, these are just of my dad, so in case anyone recognised him. That's just when he was married to his first wife, Maureen. That's my two half-sisters' mum. She's passed away now, unfortunately, but that was how he used to be back in the day when he'd come out of the army and he's starting his world in the underworld, you know.
Oh, well, classic.
Yeah, with some of the other figures. And the last one is just a picture of when he come out of prison. He was on parole, so he had to go straight. Okay, so he became a chauffeur. He was doing car parts. There was always a fiddle to be had, don't get me wrong, but this is the route he went down, and he had connections with Arabian princes and stuff like that. So this is the picture of him as he's a bit younger than he is now, I suppose. But yeah, that was him when he come out of prison and was trying to go straight.
What did he get arrested for?
Well, he got arrested on a couple of long sentences. He got grassed up on both of them. First sentence, if I go back to when I was younger, it come into how he got nicked. So my earliest memory, I think I was about 2, 3, maybe 4 even, when he first got nicked. And he used to own a pub called the Chancellor on the off the Edgware Road. And a lot of the old time gangsters and stuff like that used to drink in there, you know. And that's where he used to have a lot of his friends, people like Lenny McLean, used to drink in there with my dad sometimes. And my earliest memory was a guy had come into the pub and was starting on a woman. They had having a blazing row inside the pub, and the guy threw a glass and it hit the woman in the face and smashed all her face open. And I was sitting on Lenny McLean's lap, and I think I was about 3.
So lucky.
I wasn't lucky, you know. I just remember his big, massive hands. He used to weightlift with me and stuff like that. He wanted to sit on Lenny's lap. That's the problem. Look. That's the fucking problem.
I just wanted to see he was on fire.
I'm glad I didn't know you did. So anyway, my old man's jumped across the bar, and he pulled out a revolver and shot the man in the foot.
Did he?
Yeah, because he'd smashed this woman in the face with a glass, and back then that's a proper liberty, you know.
Taught him a lesson, didn't it?
Well, it taught him a lesson. I got shoved upstairs. Lenny said, "Come on, boy, this ain't for you," and took me upstairs. And but still, I suppose that does have an effect at such a young age, seeing something like that, especially when your dad does it.
Was it surreal?
Very surreal. I didn't quite realise what had gone on. To be quite honest, I thought someone blew his foot off the balloon.
I didn't realise what was off the balloon. The geezer's got no foot. Welcome to Carnival.
I wondered why he was up and about. I wonder why he was up and about.
Serious interview.
I was too busy playing with Lenny, wasn't I?
I'm going to have a word with you when I get up there.
So anyway, they bandaged the geezer up and sent him up to the hospital. And obviously, you know, not to say nothing because everyone knew who my dad was, and obviously Lenny and stuff like that, other people in the pub. And that's how it was back in them days. He didn't grass up or nothing like that. And people were getting sorted out and thrown out, basically.
And what happened to the woman beater?
That's what happened to him. He got bandaged up around his foot and sent up the hospital and told not to say nothing. Otherwise, there'd be a knock on his door the next morning.
So he never said anything.
Oh, he definitely never said nothing.
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah, good for him.
So, yeah, that was my first instance. And then I remember, because my dad was doing quite well, he had flash cars and stuff like that, always coming home with mink coats and stuff, a bit like fish there, you know what I mean? And,
Good jacket.
yeah. And
I only dressed like this to try and be like Shaun. That's what I dressed like.
I feel underdressed next to you two today. Look.
Like, you're relaxed. Don't he look like George Clooney? Don't he look like George Clooney?
He does.
Well, that's not what the girls say. But anyway, so it was, and then he must have done his first bank robbery.
Yeah.
Or one of his first bank robberies. And what happened is, it was like I remember it like this. You know, in the film Vicar, when he gets nicked, right, in front of his missus, and the boy comes running out and says, "Daddy," and they've got the guns up to his head. It was exactly like that.
Right.
Exactly like that. It's the same old hairdos in the 70s, the same put up against the wall with all the flying squad and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And me shouting out, "Daddy, where you going?" And you know, little did I know. So yeah, that was the first. And then you know, I didn't see my dad for quite a bit. He was inside for about 4 or 5 years, I think.
And how old were you over that period of time?
Yeah, I was only about 3 on to about 6, 7, like that.
That must have been rough then.
It was rough. I went through quite a bad childhood because my dad wasn't there to protect me, if you like. He was in prison. My mum lost my sister, and she couldn't cope, if you like, with having another baby. So I went into care. Then come out of care. My mum just like lost the plot.
I'm a little bit confused. I'm not, but Crash. When you say he wasn't there to protect me, what do you mean? He wasn't there to show you how, you know, to bring you up? Not.
Well, no, and to protect me, Fish.
Yeah, okay.
If I'm honest,
Yeah,
which I was going to get onto if you give me 5 minutes.
Just takes so long getting there. Do you know what I mean?
So yeah,
That's why I didn't want to come. I said,
I was
let me
trying to
sit.
set the
I said, let me
mood.
sit over there. Hold on. They wanted me to sit here like a statue. Look at the state of me. You know.
Yeah, so anyway, because my dad had gone away.
We do 2-hour podcasts here, Mr. Fish.
Yeah. You better say something in that 2
I'm going to
hours.
sit over there. It's about him today.
So anyway, yeah. So my dad got put in prison. I'd gone into care. I'd come home.
Could you visit him in prison?
Yeah, I visited him everywhere in prison. I visited Maidstone, Wayland, Parkhurst, Colney.
How's that feel going into a prison at that age?
I learned criminal stuff when I was about 5. I was learning how to make bird cages. I knew about puff being hidden in, although I didn't know what puff was. It was always talked about and stuff like that, you know. And seeing my auntie put puff in bags of cheeselets, you know, and them eating the cheeselets with the puff inside and stuff like that, swallowing the puff. And you didn't really know what all that was when you was a kid. Didn't know what any of it was. Only when I got older and done it myself that I realised. You know?
See what I mean?
Yeah, but it helped me because I knew how to keep puffing early.
So going in prison at that age then, was that like exciting and not intimidating?
What, for him?
For you?
For me?
As a kid? A little kid going into a big prison. You must be like, ooh.
Do you know what, Shaun? It was mixed emotions because one, I'm going into a place where everyone knows my dad and you're sitting on all the boys' laps, you're hearing good stories. And to me, my dad was my idol, you know, he was a hero. So it was all exciting. I just, you know, it was glamorized, if you like. And then you get to leave without your dad.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the hard bit, to be quite honest. You just want to stay with your dad, you know. You don't understand it. Why can't he come home, you know? So yeah, there was a lot of that. And then going through school, like, I was abused 3 times by 3 different people when I was 5 up until I was about 8.
Like bullied?
No, twice by women, babysitters,
Oh,
and once by a man who was a caretaker.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, and that's what I meant when I needed my dad to protect me.
Okay.
All right, that's where I was going to with that. Yeah, I needed him to show me how to be a man, but I also needed him to protect, you know, because my mum wasn't there. Bless her, it wasn't her fault.
Why wasn't she
know?
there?
Because the loss of a child just took something away from her. She couldn't get over it, mate.
Okay.
She couldn't get. She still hasn't got over it now. You know.
Really?
Yeah, it killed her inside because she was part Down syndrome, and it was her only girl. You know.
What did your mum do?
Huh?
What did your mum do?
What does my mum do?
Yeah.
Well, she was a dancing teacher and she owned her own dancing school. She used to dance at London Palladium and
Now
stuff
she
like
meet
that.
the old man.
At London Palladium.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, my dad was there with all the chaps, and my mum was dancing on stage.
Right.
Yeah, and he went, "You'll do for me."
Did you see any of the women at the London Palladium?
Sorry?
Did you see it?
Yeah, when I was a baby, I remember I was only young, sitting in the changing rooms and watching all the girls get changed and all that. Yeah, I think that's my fascination for women come from it. But I love a dancer. I got to be honest, I do love a dancer. But yeah, so you know, I had a hard childhood, and then I was in a house fire as well. I nearly died in the house fire as a baby.
Describe what happened.
Since I don't know how to put this without sounding like a donut, but after my sister died in that house,
After your sister died?
after my sister died, there were some very strange things going on in that house.
How'd she die?
She choked on her own vomit in her sleep.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she had the MRR jab, which sent her a little bit Down syndrome, and then she vomited in her sleep. And what happened? Because I was in bed with my mum, and she choked in the other bed, and my mum hadn't heard her. My mum blamed me and tried to smother me with a pillow.
What?
Yeah, and tried to smother me with a pillow. So that's why I was taken into care.
Holy shit.
Yeah, she went nuts. And then what happened is after that, when I come out of care, and obviously I was a bit older then, going to school, she had been telling one of her friends that I was coming home, and the friend had her little boy with her. And the little boy was one of my classmates in school, and he'd overheard his mum talking to my mum about what she'd done. So then when I went to school, I got bullied. Your old man's in prison. Your mum tried to kill you. Yeah, I used to get beaten up after school, chased home and stuff like that, you know. So as a kid, I didn't have a good time, you know. I had a mad time, actually. And then my dad come home, and he didn't know anything about all this, to be quite honest. But yeah, he just, and And then he done another robbery. He done a mental institution.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
But know what makes me laugh? When you laugh every time I tell this story.
It's funny. When he said it to me, I had to laugh. Oh, blinder.
Oh, yeah. So, what happened was, he
Oh, this is class.
What's
This
the
is
rob
class.
from a mental place?
Oh,
so what
this
it
is
was,
class.
they had wages there. Okay,
Wages?
Wages. It was a big mental institution. They used to do all the wages for the workers and stuff like that. And my dad's someone my dad knew. His missus worked in there in the wages department, and give him the job basically. The security van used to come in there, collect the wages, and go off again. Yeah. So what he did is he went and had a look at the job, and obviously you can see all these lunatics around behind this fence and watching the van go in. But they said, well, how are we going to do this, George? And he said, well, let's just wait and see what the actual drivers do and stuff like that. So one of them got out to go to the door. So he said, that's how we get into the van. He said, one of them gets out, we get in. So that's basically how they'd done the job. And they had a getaway car and stuff. And as the alarms went off, we've got loads of nutters chase them, go, no, 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 no. Loads of alarms ringing and they're doing the runner. Yeah, and they got away with it. They got away.
What makes me laugh? He said they got a load of lunatics in the place, but he's dead, man. He got shotgun. I don't have a gun. And they're supposed to be lunatics. I'm like, hello.
I don't see how I don't call him a lunatic. Yeah, I know. But yeah, so they got away. And what happened is there was a lot of police activity, obviously, and they'd my old man had asked the guy who's missing him the job to put the tools away, and the guy put them under the baby's cot.
Can you explain what the tools are?
Guns, Shaun shotguns, revolvers, and stuff, you know, and he'd hid them under the baby's cot. Now the police are not stupid, obviously. They know, they worked out who works there. If any of their husbands have got form, which this woman's husband did have form, gone round to the house and found the guns. So the guy had grasped my dad up, and that's how he got nicked the second time. But what happened is we was at my nan's house in Greenford, in Fairmead Road. I'll never forget. And I was about 7 or 8, I think. And my dad held me hostage at gunpoint for 3 days.
What?
Yeah. Not to hurt me or anything like that. Is because my dad was such a dangerous man. They said that they wanted to take me again. This social wanted to take me again, and my mum was no fit state to contest that.
Yeah.
And my dad's getting nicked, so there's no one there to stop me going back in. So he held me at gunpoint for 3 days, hostage.
I wish my dad did that to me.
You know, and in the end, I think he just...
Can you go through day one?
To me, to me, it's the best 3 days of my life. I've got to be honest. Yeah, me and Dad bonded. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
But I didn't quite.
Bad always comes to good.
I knew something mad was going on, but the way my dad was explaining it, it's, oh no, it's all right. There's something wrong with the house, and your mum's not well, and that's why the police are here. And as long as we stay in here, we'll be all right. And you know, I've got all the food, and he never brought.
How old was he?
He never brought the gun out in front of me,
Yeah.
or to me, but he showed them that he had one, and he had me in the room.
How old was he?
I think I was about 7 or 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's young, man.
Yeah, I was young. Yeah, but I just sorry, I don't really laugh, but he taught me how to draw a motorbike. I swear. He done a grid on a pad. He said, well, draw that little bit in that grid. Draw that little bit. I swear, it's the best picture I've ever driven. I've ever...
What did you draw to get away? To get away?
Yeah, scrambler. So that's what we did for the 3 days. And then painted it because he was an artist, you know? I think it was just his way of keeping me occupied.
Bonding, isn't it?
Yeah, but obviously in the end they had to come in and he let me go.
How did they come in?
My auntie come in and got me.
Okay.
He let my auntie come in and get me, like, and as long as social promised not to take him and put me in custody of my auntie.
Ah, did that work?
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, that was the conditions.
Yeah,
he wouldn't leave me until he knew I was in safe hands. You know. And so then he had to go again, and he was gone probably till I was about 14, 15.
And how old were you when he went that time?
I think I was about 7 when he went.
Seven.
Yeah, about
Seven.
about 7 when he went that time.
Wow.
Right
So
through
8
to I was,
years then.
yeah, he'd done
Have you
8.
still got the picture of the
Yeah, he'd
motorbike?
done 8. Huh? Yeah,
still
I've
got
still got the picture of the motorbike.
Both of them, the one I'm riding.
But yeah, so what it was then, Shaun, for me, what you got to understand is where I lived, there was the underworld knew my dad. A lot of the gangsters, if you like, knew my dad, but not all my friends knew who my dad was. They didn't know what he was about, and it's probably only now to this day that they're starting to find out. But I used to get picked on quite a bit, so I become a bit of a rebel. And my mum got remarried. The guy moved his kids in to the house, so obviously it's gone.
So you go from your aunt back to your mum?
Yeah, I went back to my mum.
With a new
They
man
let me go
kids?
back to my mum. And then obviously she was with a new guy, and there's new kids in the house, 3 new kids, and then my mum gets pregnant, and I think what she done, bless her, she tried for security, you know, because she'd had such madness in her life, and she just wanted someone to look after her, bless her, you know. And but I got pushed out, you know. It's like I was like my dad. I was rebelling. I'd been abused. I had all these problems, you know, and I didn't find it easy to talk to anyone except for my auntie. If I'm really honest.
How did they push you out?
They didn't try to push me out. I just wouldn't accept my stepdad, and it was me that rebelled really. And then the more I rebelled, the more they. Not that he didn't like me, but you know, over time, when someone's rebelling so much, you would start disliking the kid.
He could see,
wouldn't
he could
you?
see, he could obviously recognise you didn't like him.
Yeah.
And he recognised you was doing all these hassle from because of him. So,
and I was like doing stupid things, like my mum, because she was overprotective and stuff. Like all the kids would be playing out, and I'd be in when it was all the kids were playing out and stuff, you know. And he would always say, "Can't let him out. You can't mollycoddle him, wrap him up, and cut him all just because what his dad's done." Do you know what I mean? And because he's lost his sister, do you know, it's not his fault. But yeah, it just made me rebel. I mean, I was staying in sheds and nicking motorbikes and started nicking cars and taking drugs and stuff like that. You know,
What was the first drugs you did?
Probably aerosol cans.
Oh yeah,
and poppers and
huffing glue.
Yeah, and probably hash back then.
Yeah,
00 and you know, things like that. Good hash back in the day. And that's how I first started taking drugs. I was staying out in fields and stuff like that.
You're hiding your feelings and all that behind the drugs.
Yeah, I just felt that there was no one there.
Yeah.
You know, my mum had moved on with her new husband and the new family that was there. My dad was in prison, and you know, I was just soldiering it on my own, if you like. Yeah, just soldiering it on my own, and that's what you have to do, I suppose. That's how you grow up quick.
Yeah.
But it also makes your survival instincts in heightened, you know. So you'll do anything to survive, even crime, even the worst of the worst. I've done things I'm not proud of at all. You know, I've done some horrible things.
I always say sometimes what you call crime, we call survival.
Yeah, absolutely.
What were your friendships like back then? Do you have like best mates and stuff? Or?
Do you know what, Shaun? I was always a lone ranger, mate. I had mates, don't get me wrong, but there was always little bullies in the end until I started fighting back. You know, there come that day when I left high school and I've been bullied so much, and in the end, it don't hurt no more. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't hurt no more. So you think, well, why not throw one? Rather than just taking them, why not throw one? And when I knocked this geezer out, it was just a big surprise to me that I could actually do something like that, you know, because no one had taught me. It's not like my dad was there teaching me to fight, or do you know what I mean? So that is when something clicked in me, and I just thought, I'm not taking it no more, you know. And then like even mates that I had then that had been taking the biscuit, if you like, once we'd had a fight and they realised that I'm not a donut, then we was all best mates again, you know, like we're all good pals now, you know. Now they've got a bit of respect for you.
Hate when people are supposed to be your pal. I always say, if you're scared of me, jog on. Do you know what I mean? You're supposed to be your pals. Be your pals for your pals. Not because you're going to have to tell, or you're good at or hand it certain things, innit? I hate all that.
Absolutely.
So what was your first arrest?
My first arrest, I got nicked for nicking 164 Astras alone in Norfolk and Greenford. They had their own operation out on me called Operation Astray, Astra with a Y on the end. Because I don't know, I think I was doing it about 12, 13, Shaun. Honestly, about 12, 13. I remember I just started high school when I was nicking cars. And someone showed me how to do it one day, and that was it. And I got nicked because I used to go joyriding. That's how I used to stay in cars, sleep in cars overnight when I weren't going home and stuff. And that's how I learned to drive. And the amount of things I used to do was unbelievable, but still. So there was that. And then you get through your teenage years, and then I've come to the end of high school, and I was never allowed on a school trip because of my behaviour, I suppose. And they allowed me on one last school trip. It was the last school trip, and it's to Germany. And but they had to give my mum progress reports every day to see how I was, and because they had an emergency flight for me, just in case I was naughty, ready to come home. So they had it like on standby. So she had progress reports every day. So I remember coming back on the German trip, and it was a coach trip, but they had a flight just for me, just in case I was naughty. But come back on the trip, and we stopped off somewhere, and they had to report back to my mum. And my mum said, "Can you just tell him that his dad's coming up?" Yeah, and I because I didn't know parole or anything like that. I didn't even know when he was coming home, to be quite honest. And so now that meant I had to sort of toe the line a little bit. You know what I mean? Because now it's not my reputation, it's his.
Had you still been visiting him up to that point?
No, I'd stopped visiting him, Shaun, because it got too much going to the prison and seeing my dad locked up, and I got frustrated with it, all the car journeys, and because I was always car sick, I travel sick everywhere. So every car journey, I was just sick, and in the end, I just had enough of it. I didn't want to see my dad locked up and stuff, But now he's coming home, and now I'm dreading what's going to happen, because not only is he going to find out certain things, but he's back, and I've got to toe the line. I've got to do as me told. But so we got back home, and I got a phone call from him, and I hadn't spoken to him for a good year and a half. Sorry, I hadn't.
You edged back a bit.
I haven't spoken to him for a good year and a half.
Shoes. That's all it was. I'm doing them tactics as well. I don't do them tactics. We were doing that at school, mate. So you put your glasses back on.
So
put the glasses on. Put the glasses on. Come on, Shaun.
Put the glasses on.
There you go.
My head's really big.
London's crazy.
Stan Laurel, look.
Massive head.
Whatever you do not get Oh, God.
Oh.
Yeah, so now he's coming home.
What? His mic. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're on.
Kick it over. Don't worry.
So he's coming out on a home leave, and that happens probably a week or month before they come home for good. Yeah. But when he's come out, he was wearing I've told this story before, but he'd come out and he's got an old camel skin jacket.
Right.
Winkle pickers and the old flares and all that. You got to remember he's gone in like 8 years ago, And when he's come out, and everyone's looking at him as he's walking down the street, and I know what my dad's temper was like, and what the fuck are you looking at and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, no, he's only out on home leave. Please don't start fighting people because they're looking at you, and because he's paranoid because he's got your prison head on and stuff, And he's walked past the clothes shop, and he's obviously seen the clothes that people wear today. And he looked at me and he went, "Boy, what's that?" I said, "Well, that's what people wear now, Daddy." He said, "Well, right, fuck it." Excuse my French, I do apologise. But yeah, so I'm in Chevron jacket, I'm all clued up. I've been to Chippy, I know what I'm doing. I was trying to educate him on the style, but he just weren't having it. But so it was like going back in time.
Can I ask you a question? I've never interviewed before, but you know what? One thing I've never asked you. George, I know George is wicked. But as a kid, and you said he's ex-army, so was he disciplinarian?
When he come home, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, did he instill
but that's what I'm trying to it's regimental in the way of you will iron your shirt and have the
Yeah, that's
creases
what I'm
going down the
asking,
side. You will make the bed and make sure the bed's made properly without a crease
Yeah,
in
that's
it.
what I mean. Like my
You will
dad,
get up, you will brush your teeth, you will comb your hair, you will do a
Yeah,
run
that's
around the
what I'm
block.
asking. Yeah, so
Yeah,
good. Yeah, well done.
yeah, it's regimented in that way. But
Yeah.
I'd never had that before. So, and I've been smoking weed and that. So I was like, please, Dad, no more. Please, Dad, I was 16.
So when he went away, then was it a relief that the regiment was gone?
No, because obviously when I was smaller, there was no regiment there. Do you know,
Okay.
like I was a kid
Yeah.
then. Do you know what I mean? I was
Yeah.
just daddy's boys, and it's only when you grow up into a teenager and you need.
So you're talking about when he was on that trip in Germany and came back. That is when you started to bond with him.
Yes.
So you're talking about those. And what age was you there?
16,
Right,
15,
so here we
16,
go,
just
George.
turning 16, I
Okay.
think.
Christ.
And so yeah, he come home and he went to live at my auntie's house, his sister's, and like I was just about to say, yeah, that's when that started. You know, the regimental, like I'd stay with him and stuff like that, teaching me how to be a man, I suppose. And I just worried what he was going to do when he come out, because for me, what you have to understand is I was on my own. I needed him. I wanted him there.
Okay.
But he's a man's man. He ain't got time. He ain't got time to bring a kid up. Well, I'm not a kid
No,
anymore.
you're right. I know what
I'm
you're saying,
16.
yeah.
But, you know, I needed someone to show me what to do. Or at least give me some knowledge. Do you know what I mean? Because knowledge is power, right? That's how we survive. So that's why I went to live with him. And like I said in this picture is when he started doing the chauffeuring and stuff like that. And that's what he had to do because he was on parole, you know, but he was still doing stuff behind the scenes to earn money, you know.
What was the first incident with you when you went and whacked the geezer on the geezer's burger?
Yeah. I'll never forget actually when he first come out, I got nicked.
Yeah, God.
And
What did you get nicked for? Don't leave us in suspense.
it's for nicking a car.
Okay.
And he come to the first time ever he'd been to the police station to pick me up.
No.
First time ever. And my mum was there. And obviously he's got to play the part in front of my mum and all that. Like she's expecting a clip round the earhole, isn't she? Do you know what I mean? And he's going to clip round the earhole, let kick up the arse, you know? That's the first and only time he ever gave me a slap. I've got to be honest. It went hard. Do you know what I mean? You know? And it didn't work.
No disrespect for you, but if you see his old man, I mean, I love George. You know, with people like his dad. You know, I noticed he said gangsters. People like George, they don't call themselves gangsters. They call themselves villains.
That's right.
This gangster's a new word that's termed since I've noticed with the podcast. But we were all villains. But one thing I would say about his dad is well, mate, sharp, form, stocky. I mean, his dad. Yeah, he can have the row there.
Yeah, he's on point where that's concerned. I mean, he was a champion boxer in the army. He was a mercenary. You know, he can kill with his bare hands. Believe that he can as well. Even now, he got on the bus the other day. My dad's 78. My dad's 78 now. He's an old man, and he got a bus the other day, and he was letting two old girls get on the bus, and some I don't know, divvy geezer jumped in front of two old birds, but nearly pushed the old girl off the stairs of the bus. So my dad's gripped him back and said, "What the hell do you think you're doing? Pushing in front of these old women?" So they've had a little bit of a confrontation. He says, "You silly whatever." He's gone to get back on the bus, and the guy's punched him in the back of the head.
Yeah, you've forgotten it, George. Never turn your back on the enemy. What's wrong with you? I swear down. I'll see you later. I'll punch you in your head. Back.
I did say to him, "You're losing it, Paps. You're losing it."
I always take the big out. I love it.
But he turned around and oh mate, like for a 78-year-old man, and it isn't me trying to blow his trumpet or anything like that, but flipping hell, he just knows where to hit. Let's just say that. He just went, "Kak," and the geezer was knocked out on the floor. He went, "How do you feel done by an old pensioner?" So,
I always say, "How do you feel you got done by a puff?"
The same thing, isn't it? Oh dear. Yeah, so he's still going strong, and you know he still won't take no shit from no one. He's stubborn as anything.
So hit the story with the geezer.
So anyway, when he's come home, so now I've got to toe the line, if you like, but I'm still doing what I'm doing. You know, I'm still a teenager. I'm still rebellious, and he's still up to what he's doing. And he always told me, if you're going to do crime, son, he said, do it the right way. You know, have the old school rules. Don't nick off your own. You don't have grass. Like, you know, you say no comment in the interviews, and no one gets into trouble. You know, you hold your name, you hold your own, and that's what I've always believed in. But now he's come home, I think no one can touch me. You know, so I'm being a bit of a nuisance, if you want to say that, okay?
A bit of a gangster.
Oh, trying to be. I ain't a gangster. I never will be, and I'm not trying to be. But back then, I probably was trying to be. Yeah,
Gangsteritis.
yeah, gangsteritis. You know, and so what happened is there was a big, massive skinhead guy who lived on our estate where I lived, or I lived just off the estate. But he used to live on the estate, and he used to manipulate all the youngsters. You know, he was heavy into drugs, sell a bit of weed and that and whatever. And but he used to use the youngsters for his bidding. Yeah. And one day I was in his house, and he said, "Carl, look, ain't your hair long?" He said, "Do you want me to cut it for you?" I said, "I don't do a number 3 all over. Like, don't take the biscuit." But he's obviously taken the thing off and gone baldy on it. You know. So then he has to do the whole lot. And I think he even slept aftershave on my head after. I went nuts. But yeah, so a bully tactic, right? And when I've come out of there, I've put a Benny Hill hat on. And then I got
You look like Benny.
yeah. And I got home, and my dad called, and he said, "I'm down the pub, boy." He said, "Come and see me." I said, "I'm with my mate Winston," which was another guy that was in the underworld.
Not a black guy.
He was a black guy. He was a Rastafarian
No, would you a
guy.
man called Winston?
He was good geezer. Love you, Winston. And yeah, so I've had to go down the pub, and I'm thinking, no, I've got to go down there. My dad's going to see me with his haircut. What the hell is he going to do? So I've walked in this pub, and straight away he's got it. You know what I mean? Straight away. And he said, "Come here." And he just took the hat off. He said, "Who done that to you?" So I had to tell him what happened. So he's looked at his mate Winston. He said, "Mate, Winston, you want to make one with me? I've got to go and see this bully geezer, like, you know, he's done this to my boy's head." He went, "Yeah, no problem, George." So they put me in the car, and we've gone down there, and they're either side of the door. Now, my dad's not a tall man, but he was he was a strong, powerful, stocky man. I'm sure he had little man syndrome. I think he did. He was just like a little Rottweiler. But his mate Winston was about 6'4" with dreads, and wow, man, this geezer was like scary looking. Do you know what I mean? And they're either side of this door. And my dad's gone to me, "Right, son, what I want you to do." You remember, I'm about 16 now. And he said, "What I want you to do, when this geezer opens the door," he said, "I want you to punch him straight in the mouth and knock him spark out." Now, this geezer, when I say this skinhead, is all muscle, right? And I mean, he used to do weights every day. He looked like
Shaun.
10 times bigger, right? But like Shaun.
Shaun on steroids.
The Aryan brother.
Yeah,
Yeah, he thinks he's smart.
like.
You know, look at him.
He had all the tattoos and all that. And so my dad's going, "I want you to punch him straight in the mouth." So I'm shit myself. Absolutely shit myself. I'm thinking, what am I going to do? This guy's going to knock me out, and then my dad's going to shoot him. What's going to happen? So anyway, I've knocked on the door, and I've gone like that, and as the door opened, I've gone like that, and his wife answered.
It's all right though. She looked like her husband.
Like that. And so my dad and his mate just pushed into the doorway and closed the door behind him, so obviously no one on the street could see what was going on. He said, "Where's your husband?" And he's taken out the revolver, and the other one's taken out, "Where's your husband?" You know, and she said, "My husband's gone out. My husband's gone out." He said, "Well, I'll tell your husband this. My name's George Elliott." He said, "Ask around." He said, "Ask anyone around." He said, "Tell your husband, if I catch hold of him or he ever does that to my son again," he said, "I'm going to put one straight in his nut, all right?" He said, "Tell him that from me."
Wow.
Winston went, "Yeah." That's all he said the whole time. That's all he said.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it.
Well, what are you expecting to say?
Yeah, I liked it. So that was that. And we walked out of the house, and my dad's grabbed me by the scruff of the neck, and he said, "If you ever let anyone do something like that to you again," he said, "I don't care how big they are." He said, "You flipping fight for your life, mate." You know? He said, "Then and you call me on for something like this." Not that I did call him on, but he's having to put himself out there and risk his liberty for donuts, basically. And he said, like, you're big enough now. You're becoming a man. He said, you don't call me on no more. He said, now it's your turn to go. Yeah. He said, if your life's in trouble, or your family's in trouble, anything like that, that goes without saying.
No, but that's
Do you know what I mean? But you don't call him on for the petty stuff. You know, you've got to deal with it and be a man.
I had the same with my brothers and my family and all my mates. And I used to say to them, listen to them there, if you're going to call me on for something proper, yeah? Because you started it, not because they started it. Don't call me on for something that you started. Do you know what I mean? Because you know, you don't mind walking the landings if they've started it. But if your own people have started it and then they expect you to go, it's all muggy, isn't it? It's muggy.
Of course it is, because you're putting your liberty at risk for what?
Yeah.
You know? So, where was I?
You was there with your old man, just with the bird who'd been in there.
So there was that.
Not to call it on.
Yeah, not to call it on.
Listen.
Who are you living with at this point of the story?
I'm in between my mum's and my dad's. You know, some weeks I'd stay at my dad's, some weeks I'd stay at my mum's. It depends how it would
Has
like.
your dad got a new missus?
Sorry?
Did your dad have a new missus?
My dad had loads of new missuses, Shaun. That's why it was called Gorgeous George, mate.
He was the old, what you would call plenty of fish site.
Yeah, he was. Except you couldn't swipe
Plenty of Mr. Fish.
Yeah. So
the thing is, they never swipe right.
I'll tell you what happened. I did go back to live with him. I went to live, because he'd met an antiques dealer. This woman was beautiful, man, Maria.
Was she old?
Oh, no, she was stunning. She was like a model. And she lived down Harrow Hill with all tennis courts. And, you know, she had one of them big houses. But she was an antiques dealer. And me, my dad, and this Maria went to Jamaica. Okay. And my dad put on his old army uniform and pretended to be a retired general or major, something like that, from the army, and was interested with a consortium to buy all the top hotels in Jamaica. Okay, so they sorted all this business out before they went. They said they was waiting for a consortium. She was the secretary, and obviously I had to dress in a little son's military outfit and play the part. And, yeah, it was wicked. 12 weeks free holiday. I'm telling you. So we got there, and I'll never forget, on the plane, he went to me. He went nuts. He went to me, boy. He said, if anyone asks you, just say you don't know. Okay. I said, don't know about what, Dad? He said, your dad's retired from the army. Okay. I said, yeah, I know that, Dad. But you don't know what I am, a major or a general or anything like that. He said, we're buying hotels. I said, are we, Dad? He said, no, not really, but that's what we're here to do. So now I'm starting to get the gist of what's going on. So we come out of the airport, we get picked up by this estate agent. And he takes us to a hotel, and I think it's about 1.3 mil or something like that. And we walked out. My dad's looking around, and he went, what's this you're showing me? I don't think you quite understand. I said, I own a consortium. I want like £30 million, like £40 million hotels, all the top hotels. So in the end, we're staying for like 2 weeks, absolutely nothing, in the honeymoon suite, in all these top hotels around the island, meeting police commissioners, meeting prime ministers and all sorts, going to functions. She's the thing. I'm just eating the vol-au-vents like that. I don't know what's going on. Oh, what's going on? Yeah. So then we get taken around, and he had a guide. I can't remember this guy. I think it's Eddie or something like this. Another Rasta geezer. And we used to walk through Trenchtown and things like that. And he'd go, this white boy with me, this is the general. You don't touch the general, you know? So everyone knew not to touch the general. And we was ending up in rum shacks, getting drunk. My dad was going to buy the whole place a drink. Everyone a drink. So they all loved him, you know? We was going up in the hills and smoking bongs with the old rastas up in the fields and that, into shacks, and it's just it was amazing holiday. But that's the sort of swindles he used to do, like, you know. Did it come to an end because they sussed him out, or he just got out of there clean? No, we just got out of there, and then when the guy rang up, like, couldn't wait to go on his commission, he was like, no, the consortium's decided to reinvest in another island now.
No, you're out. You're dead. When I see you, George, at Liberty. My uncle owned one of them hotels. How
much? Yeah, so that was one instance when we come home, and when he come home. And then after that, because he did get back into the game, you know, but after that he started he moved into a hostel in Southall. And I think it was at his lowest. I think something had happened with the car parks or something like that. It ended. The swindle had come on top, so it had to end. And he was on the floor. I'll never forget. And I nicked a camera, a bit like that one actually. And I took it to him just so he could sell it and get some money. And I think when he sees his son had to go out and pinch something for him, like he's never been skint in his life. Do you know what I mean? I think that just triggered something off on him. And he went back to South London to his first wife after my mum and him got divorced. And he went back to his first wife. And that's obviously when he met his old friends, the old gangsters again, because that's where he's known over in South London in Deptford. And that's when it started again, if you like, for a little bit. He started doing raves. He'd done one in Windsor, in Mirage in Windsor. He'd done it for about 8 to 10 weeks, I think.
That was quite a well-known rave.
Yeah, that was
well, very well.
Mirage in Windsor, yeah. He'd done one there. So then he got into the ecstasy side of it and stuff like that, you know, because the bouncers.
If I remember correctly, Mirage was on a Sunday because people would come to Laserdrome, which was our club, and then go down to Windsor and they've Sunday after. Was it in the afternoon? I'm sure it was. Yeah,
with Randall and Hype and Exodus and
DJ Randall, how much can you handle?
So what year are we on in your story now?
I must be about 17 now.
1839 BC.
Yeah, about 17 now.
So late 80s, is it?
Yeah, it'd be in the 80s.
79 BC.
Rave scene started 88, did it?
Yeah, no, it must be 90s now. I'm 43.
90s, Mirage was 90s because
Mirage, I'm 43. I was only about 18 then.
94,
17, 18.
96 there because
it's only 20 odd years ago. Isn't it?
Was Andrew Pritchard in the mix with you guys?
Yeah,
we're about to interview him this week,
Andrew
actually.
Pritchard, yeah. There's a few of them that was there.
Who's Andrew Pritchard?
I'll let Lee tell you about what.
I'll tell you another time. Anyway, so that's what they were doing.
Thanks very much. The knowledge you get out of these two is actually unreal. Right. Don't forget to go to Elliott and Attwood University. You'll come out with a top degree. The knowledge is.
We'll tell you later. It's a secret.
Paramount to no one.
He did a lot of big time trafficking. Was involved in raves and stuff.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He ended up in Jamaica for several years.
Yeah.
Running his operations.
So hard was he?
So that's what he was doing. He was doing the raves, and then because he got into the ecstasy side of it and stuff like that, then he was given other jobs like coke, big amounts of coke, 150 kg coke, and what had happened, it basically.
Did he get his work through the other army boys, or did it come through? Do you understand? A lot of army boys, didn't they, got their work through?
Do you know what? Different work come from different people.
Yeah.
So the more violent work, if you like, or the stuff that people don't really want to talk about, is probably given by the army and ex-army and their mates, the mercenary side of it. Yeah.
Well, they were used to gun. Right?
Yeah.
Used to doing the job,
yeah. So if anything heavy had to be done, that's where probably the jobs would come from, you know. But bank jobs and that can come from the criminal underworld kind of. It can come through. I mean, he used to run with Harry Haywood over in Deptford, was very well known, and he was probably the main man over there back then. Yeah, and it was all part of his crew. So yeah, they were very known throughout the underworld and stuff like that. And then he got onto the 150 key. But what had happened is they got nicked. He went to the car to pick the car up, and Custom and Excise pounced on him at Dover.
The car with the merch in it.
Yeah, and it had 3 boxes of coke in the back, right? 50 key in each box. And so they went to trial, and the only thing that got my dad off was there was a number in the back of his diary that the police had held back, and it was part of the evidence, and they introduced it into the trial. So my dad remembered the number in the back of the diary and said, well, why aren't they produced this? Because this is like what's going to get me off. So the judge made them produce it. And in the back of the diary, he said he worked in a market store and he thought there was T-shirts in there. That's what he was going to pick up. And the amount of T-shirts that would fitted in them 3 boxes would have come to this certain amount, which was in the back of his diary. And that's the only mitigation that got him off the 150 key. Yeah. That's the only thing that got him off.
T-shirt off of him.
Fruit the loom. But yeah, so that was the last big one because he was in Belmarsh then. And like now, I'm like nearly a grown man. Do you know what I mean? And I'm visiting him.
How did the cops know to bust him?
I think they was watching. I don't know. I think from the evidence they was watching, and it was a big operation. You know.
Yeah.
But what happened is after when I'm visiting him in Belmarsh, now it's me taking up the puff. No, now it's me taking up the red seal in balls in the cheeselet packets. Now it's me visiting, risking my liberty to keep him going in there. You know, because now I'm thinking, oh no, he's going to die in prison. You know, this is the big one.
Yeah.
This is the big one, you know. So I having the first two, but and when he got off of it, it was like a not just a relief, but it was just like a second chance, if you like.
It's sad when people think they're going to die in prison, isn't it? Because I had a mate called Georgie Stokes, and he was a massive coke dealer. And I remember he got arrested late in the game, and his girlfriend Julie wanted to come over from Spain to visit him. And he said he didn't want her to do it. And I thought, well, why not? He goes, oh, I'm going to die now. I don't want her to see me like this. And I thought, you know what, George? It's not all about you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
she needs to see you.
Yeah, like think of her and let her come. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, it's tearful really. But and he'd done it in the end, and it was the great thing they'd done. But it's just mad. I mean, it's amazing how, you know, all these podcasts, as we all sit here, but you never sort of realise, like, the people that dads, mums that die in prison. Do you know what I mean? And it kills you. It just and for them, it's so sad because they don't want. I don't know why they don't want to see anybody that cares about them or loves them. It's very, very sad. Sorry, kid.
Yeah, well, I can take heed of that. I know why people find it very hard to have people visit them, because you don't want them seeing you in that place. You don't want them crying. You don't want them hurting. I'll never forget my kids coming up on my last sentence, and you know what it was?
You're gone.
When my boy came in, he was 1.
How old is he, mate?
Now he's 11, nearly 12. But when I got nicked on my last sentence for GBH with intent, and I was looking at 14-year IPP, and my missus had brought him up on a visit, and I looked at that boy, and it's the first time I cried my eyes out on that visit, because I just thought, what the fuck have I done to this little kid? Do you know what I mean? I'm doing exactly what my dad done to me. Exactly the same. I'm doing it. And then my oldest daughter's come in, you know, and my oldest son. And when they're leaving, they're crying and gripping at the glass. And it just took me back in time, if you like. It took me back exactly what I was doing.
Yeah. I was on a bit of work with my band. It's just like what you're saying. I'm on a bit of work with this pal. And we got the thing, and we're ready to go in this gaff, and we're all tooled up there. He's sitting there. There's about 17 doormen in this gaff, and I'm like, oh, mate, this is on some live. I thought, yeah, I've got to hold them all up. And just as I'm about to go, it's funny how mobiles have changed the game, innit? You know, isn't it mad? Because normally, I just didn't think, but normally never take a photograph, would you? I mean, fucking hell, you just don't do it. But the phone rang in the motorly, yeah? So I'm like, Crash, who's this? And it's this bird that he just met, and he said something. He said, oh, I love Stacey. And I looked at this guy and I thought, mate, I can't do this.
I can't do the job now.
I said, mate, I goes, you can't do it. And he goes, no, I'm going to do it with your fish. I said, no.
You can't do it now.
And so I got on and he said, no, come here. Anyway, we got home and I said to him after, you know what, Stevie, you have to retire. I said, I love you, mate, and you've always been game. You've always, mate, but you have to retire, because once you say you love someone, when you get nicked and go out of a room, I don't want to be that responsible. And then your kids, exactly what Lee just said about his kid, look how it killed him, crushed him. And that's what people got to realise when you play these games. That's why when I pick soldiers to come to work with me, I pick soldiers that don't have family ties, because when you're sitting over there, this is what he just said, that's no good, mate. It's no good.
Yeah, it's because at the end of the day, like, you think I'd known better, really, wouldn't you? Going through all that prison time, watching my dad in prison. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah,
Hold on 1 second.
No, 1 second. Let me just say. You said you think you know, but what did you do the GBH for, Lee? That's the difference. You understand? You know.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, you understand. It's not like you went out there and ironed someone out because you wanted to. You understand?
Yeah.
He put you in that position.
Yeah, I mean,
and your kid was involved.
I've never hurt no one for no reason.
Yeah.
I've never. Someone's always.
Yeah.
put me in a predicament in
That's right,
in
yeah.
a corner that I
Are
can't
you
get
able
out
to give
of.
us that story?
Huh?
Are you able to give us the story?
Yeah,
behind
look,
it?
okay, all
You
right.
said it before.
I've been nicked twice for GBH with intent. Okay, the first time I was on tag. I don't know what I was on tag for, but I was on tag and I couldn't go out. It was New Year's Eve. I think it was a week left on my tag or 2 days left on my tag, and I'd been on it. I think about 8 months. And all the boys are going to me, come on, come out. We're going to a New Year's Eve party. And I was saying, listen, there's no point in me busting the tag for the last 2 days. There's no point. I might as well have a party at my house. Do you know what I mean? So I did. That's exactly what I did. I had a party at my house, and I had my brother there. I had my cousins there. I had, there was all family there. My kids were there. And we had a nice party. And after 12 o'clock, I forgot I'd told half the boys to come back after. Come and join the party. Yeah, once you've done what you're doing, come back and join the party. And it'd gone past 12 o'clock, and I think I'd gone to bed with the missus. A bit too drunk, probably. And everyone else was still up partying and blah, blah, blah. And also my mate come in, but he'd brought another guy with him. His name was Gary. And although I knew this Gary, we weren't friends. Do you know what I mean? There's never been no love lost between us, and it wouldn't be someone I'd invite to my house. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
And so my mate's gone, Happy New Year, and we're messing about, and we're not fighting, just wrestling as men do. Do you know what I mean? Happy New Year. And I don't know what this guy thought, if he was drunk or I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but he decided to join in the fight. I've gone to my mate now, what's wrong with this silly twat? Do you know what I mean? When I've called him a twat, he talked to him, he bit onto my finger, he said, that's Scar there.
No.
Yeah, that's Scar there. And he bit on my finger, and you know when someone's biting your finger off?
Yeah.
Right, and I'm telling you, this geezer's biting my finger off. So, what the fuck? One of them, yeah? And as he's falling. So I've given me a 1, 2, 3 combo, and how's your father? And he went down, and but what he did is because he's gone down, I was going to leave him. Then that was like, you're taking the piss. I'll give you a deal. I'm going to leave you now. But he bit onto my shin bone. Oh mate, I've never
Hannibal Lecter.
I'll tell you what, I never felt pain like it. And he's just biting onto the shin bone, going, get him off me, and in the
You
end,
wear boss after shave. Your socks are fluttering. I'm going to bite your finger off.
Tell me, man. For Luke.
so then he bite my shin bone, but then my daughter come running in.
He's biting on your shin bone.
Yeah, on this shin bone, and my
Was
daughter
he known for biting this guy? Or?
I don't know, but
Sounds like
he's on the
Battery,
floor, and that's the first thing he could get to,
Right.
I think. But then when my daughter come in, she screamed, "Daddy!" And because I'm screaming in pain, get him off me, you know. And I think that just protection mode come in then.
Yeah.
Then that's my kids. My kids are in the house. Do you understand me? So now you're doing it in front of my kids. Yeah. Now the big switch is gone. Now I don't want to hurt you, but now I went blank.
Out. Yeah,
I went blank.
It's a kid, isn't it? It's a kid.
Yeah, and I stabbed him in the face 13 times with a broken bottleneck. And he stood there, and all of a sudden his face just opened up, and it just went everywhere. So managed to get him out of the house, put a towel around his head, got him downstairs. My mate's trying to get hold of his bird. Oh dear!
So this is in your house?
Yeah, this is in my house.
Kids there.
My kids there.
Where are you going to fight with him?
Yeah,
Self-defense.
yeah. Basically, he's biting my shin, and to get him off, the only thing I could do, pop, pop, pop,
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you get nailed for it.
Of course, he got
13 times self-defense. I tell you what.
All right, maybe after the first 2 times it was.
Self-defense 13 times. Tell you what.
I'm not
brother.
So it's excessive force. Is
Yeah.
that-
It's too much of intent.
You might as well have been a dartboard, you loon. The world champion dart players don't hit dartboard 13 times.
But I'm not proud of that. I'm not. Honestly, I'm not proud of that.
I hope not at all.
I'm not proud.
You're all
of that.
good with this guy now?
Nah.
No.
No. Well, every time he looks in the mirror, he can imagine.
Fucking hell.
It's like
He'd
teabag.
have 1,000 stitches in his face.
What was he thinking though? Biting you and then coming back, biting you
I
again?
don't know, but I just blanked out and I just went too far, obviously. and
Yeah.
I went crazy then.
But,
and-
but the thing is, you got to remember, you just said it there, we don't listen. No one's condoning what he done there. But at the time, he was drunk there. When your kid comes into play and you blank out, that is what happens.
That's it.
We're not.
and that's what
Any
happened.
dad, when the kid's around,
Yeah,
is gonna
that's
just
right.
go
Yeah,
fucking
and that,
full on.
honestly, like
I mean, the second one.
Anyone that knows me, I love my kids to pieces, and that was just what triggered me off. It was the
In
parental
terms of
side
second incident as well. Same
Um,
thing.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the same thing.
Same thing. The second
No,
one.
similar.
Well, similar. I was with my another baby mother of mine. I know that sounds bad, but we're a couple, and her ex bloke, his kid lived with me, and this is who my youngest son's with. Okay, so my oldest kids are with one person, and my youngest kid is with another. And her ex partner didn't like the fact that I was with her. He didn't want to know his child at first. She nearly died in hospital. He didn't even come back to the hospital to see her, and I had to tell him a few things like pay for your kid, mate. I don't mind paying for you, like as she's like mine. Do you know what I mean? But when it comes down to a school uniform, put your hand in your pocket.
I thought it was because he was selling drugs in front.
Yeah, but this is what it's getting on to. So that was the first instance when I was gonna have a row with him, and then like she'd come home every week because it was me that said let him go to her dad's. I know what it's like to be a dad, so I wanted him to have a relationship with her. I wanted him to have that. I wasn't standing in the way. I wasn't trying to, but he just didn't like the fact that she was happy, I suppose. And she'd come home and say, "Daddy's playing horror films, and I've been scared all night." And then it was, "Daddy keeps giving people little envelopes. Why does he give people little envelopes?" So he's selling tickets, okay. And everyone was down the pub one night. My mate had just been stabbed the night before, actually. 3 times, and he was in intensive care. He nearly died, and I've been up the hospital all night with him, putting my fingers in his wounds.
Take a leaf out of your book. 13.
So I think with that, unlucky for some.
Oh, mate!
Oh dear! But because that had happened, I think the hype of my mate being stabbed up that night and nearly dying, and being up the hospital with him and his mum, and then the pub from the hospital was literally down the road. Okay. So he even wanted to come down the pub with us, with his drip and everything. I swear to God. We've gone down the pub, and everyone's tension is a bit high because everyone knows what's gone on and blah, blah, blah. And this guy's there with his sister. And all I did was I went over to his sister because we was all on talking terms by now. So I thought I could have a conversation, And I said, "Look, do me a favour, just tell your brother not to be serving up in front of his daughter." I said, because if she says anything in the school, social services, anything like that, it's all going to be on top. Where you can't be doing things like that in front of the kid. And that's all I said. But he's come round and caught half the conversation and thinks I'm trying to slag him off or whatever. And he started giving it the big and all that. I said, "Listen, mate, do yourself a favour and fuck off because you're going to get it, all right?" So I went back in the pub to finish my pint. Come back out the pub and to have a cigarette. And this guy's coming running towards me. He's going, "Yeah, come on, you silly, whatever." And he's coming running towards me. I'm up on the curb and he's running across the road, and he's come running up the curb to come and with this knife to come and stab me.
Something instigated this before.
I just think he knew he couldn't have me in a fight because I put it on him before, and he'd shit himself. He was embarrassed about that, and not only that, now he's got a weapon.
Was he nagging?
Yeah, of course he was. And he's come running towards me, and I just give him a quick one straight on the chin. And as I give him the quick one, he's gone over and he's dropped the knife. So I picked the knife up, and as he got up, he went, "Yeah, I'll tell everyone you've been noncing my daughter off."
Oh man!
I said, "Yeah, well, yes." So I grabbed his lips and sliced his lips off like that.
Fuck.
So you won't be telling anyone nothing now, will you? You fucking dickhead. Do you know what I mean? But the whole pub was there. They knew what he was about, and they knew what had happened. But I'd gone too far. I didn't take the knife there. He brought the knife to me. I've picked it up. But it was just in that instant what he said, because I've been abused. I mean, I've got kids. How could you say things
Both
like that?
times, kids have been involved in this.
Yeah.
It's like,
I've got, you can't be saying things like that in front of a whole pub of people. Yeah. So that's why I grabbed his lips in front of the whole pub of people and chopped his lips off in front of the whole pub of people. It didn't come right off, but it cut his lips right open and flapping.
Anybody who's looking for a friend and a companion.
Someone to talk to.
He's nuts.
What was the aftermath of that?
Well, basically, that's the one I was getting the 14-year IPP for, because they see the CCTV footage, and the judge said it was sadistic the way I grabbed his lips and cut it. So they said it wasn't just violence; it was sadistic. Like you was laughing when you was doing it, and that was on camera. Me going, So that didn't really look good to the jury. Do you know what I mean?
Could they hear what he said on the video?
No, it's just like, you know, it's on
Can we
a
change
traffic light
chairs?
camera, you know?
Can we change chair? I cut my lips off. Mate, I'm scared seeing it. So either you
I can still get you from over there.
I'm not surprised. Fuck, I'm shitting myself.
He's
here.
got a blade in his shoe.
Oh, mate.
So, yeah, there was that. And so that's what I was getting a 14-year IPP for. So,
How did they actually arrest you for that?
I ran off from the scene because I was running back to my house.
Yeah.
I threw the knife. And there was a CID car parked right at that traffic light. Can you believe? Yeah, right at the traffic light. I said, watch me do it.
They saw you throw the knife.
Yeah, they saw me throw the knife. Yeah, and they'd ragged me, tackled me to the floor. We had a big fight, but I was a tree surgeon then, and I fell out of a tree, and I had an operation on my back. I got a plastic spine and disc and vertebrae. First one in the country to have it. It's got 2 little springs in it, and I just had the operation. So, like, trying to run with the operation, then the rugby tackle. I went, me back. He went, he ain't hard, is he? Little did he know.
Come on, you went, come on.
Mate, he was kneeling me in the back, giving me the dig. He went, your back, was it? Yeah.
Well, the old days, old Bill,
Yeah, so I got nicked for that. And that's when my little boy was 1. And that's when he come up to the prison. And to be quite honest, it was that day that changed my life, Shaun, if I'm honest.
Really?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Because what I did is, obviously I've gone up for the trial, been found guilty. The judge then was an acting QC judge, a woman, and she said, Mr. Elliott, I'm going to write a note. I'm going on holiday. I want to be here to sentence you because you are getting 14-year IPP. She said, take that note, all right? That's what I'm giving you. I'm even writing a letter to the judge to say, I want to sentence you. So I was there and I was thinking, wow, man, I'm going to,
Just to clarify then for people watching, that means you've got to serve anywhere from 14 to 99 years.
yes.
IPP, there's like
I'd have done at least 30
years. On it.
So I'd have done about 30 years. So I was thinking my son's going to be grown up. That's my life done. You know, I was thinking, for what? You know, because I couldn't, pride, basically. So I come back from that trial, awaiting sentencing, and I went to the Scrubs and I was on D-Wing. I'll never forget it. It was pissing down with rain, really raining, and dark clouds, and they put me on D-Wing and in the dungeon cells at the beginning of D-Wing, and I had nothing. I walked in the cell and there was just blankets, the chair and the stuff, and just a Bible. It was open on the table. And it's no word of lie. I know this people I've never believed in God or anything like that. I've just obviously done what I've done. But at that time, and I mean, when I say dark black clouds with like rain that comes down, like you know, peeing rain catches dog. All of a sudden, just out of this one cloud, a beam of light come through the cloud, come through the cell window, hit the Bible. Right? I swear to God. And I looked at the Bible. Welcome to the light. Hallelujah. You know? And like I said, I've never believed in anything. And it was just trying to. It was just.
He's nuts. We're talking about a Bible and the light coming through the cell.
But it's shown on this page, and on the page that it lit up, it said, ask and you will receive. And I
What's
thought,
that again?
it said, ask and you will receive. That's what it lit up on the page.
What did you ask for?
So, well, I'll tell you exactly what I asked for. I said, if you get me back home to my little boy, this isn't about me anymore. I'll give in. I've been a donut. I'm not no one great. You know, I'm going to end up fucking my whole life up. Spending the rest of my life in prison like my old man and be you know, for what? I'm the biggest mug in the jail. I ain't earned a tenner. You know, I haven't earned a tenner. You know, so I'm the biggest dickhead in the jail because I'm in there for not even earning. Yeah, you was in there. So I just said, look, I hold my hands up. I said, if you're up there, if there's anything up there, like you're showing me a beam of light to the Bible, if there's anything up there, I've never believed or anything like that, I'll give in. If you take me back to my son, or you get me, I don't know how you're going to do it, I don't know how, whatever. If you stop me getting this IPP sentence, get me back to my son, I promise I'll change my life about. And when I went back, there was a different judge there. And he was an old guy, and he'd read this woman's note, and he said, "Mr. Elliott, can you stand up, please?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Mr. Elliott, I've been a judge over 40 years." He said, "I'm coming from a QC judge, not a status matters, but the way she's put in this letter, how she wants to sentence you and what she thinks of you and blah, 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 I think is quite biased against you."
Yeah. Touch me.
I think it's quite biased against you. I can see you've got a family life, you work, blah, blah, blah. And he said, "Look, I'm going to sentence you. I'm quite capable of sentencing you. I've been a judge for over 40 years, and I don't think what this judge wants to do to you is correct. 14-year IPP." He said, "Even murderers don't get that." So he gave me the 14, 10 plus a 4 years extended license. Okay, so it's an EPP sentence.
Which means what?
Extended license.
So you got to serve half of the 10.
Serve half of the 10, but you have to put an extra 4 years license on top. So if I had a 5-year license, because I've done 5 out of a 10, come out, do a 5-year license, another 4 on top of that means 9. I'm just finishing it now. Actually.
I think it's important for people out there listening, when he talks about the judge, sometimes you can have a result. Now, when I was in the Old Bailey, they were calling me a hitman for a certain group of gentlemen. And when you go to Bailey, you do think it's all over, don't you? But like him, I was lucky because the first judge who did the case went, and then I had a stand-in judge.
Yeah.
And so even though I had the gun and everything, blah, blah, blah.
They see it with a different pair of eyes.
And we got a year. I mean, 96, a year. I was like, mate. But the only problem is, what court was you in?
Isleworth, Crown Court.
Yeah, you can't, in the Old Bailey, because everyone's getting big sentences, you can't go down and celebrate. Because some people got big bird. But it's mad what a standing judge can do in it. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's mad. And what else had happened in the court? One of my mates was in the prison cell with me. I mean, it was just me and him banged up. And they'd sent him to the wrong court and told his girlfriend another court.
Okay.
So she was bringing him all these clothes and that. So he's gone off the nut because they won't let him phone her and say not to come. And they're going, "No, you ain't phoning no one," and all that. So now she's going to go all that way for nothing with a baby, So he's going off the nut. So what he's done, he started setting a light to the cell we're in with newspaper, right? But the cell doors aren't open. He's going nuts. So they're coming in with shields, right? He's gone crash, knocked one of them spark out. But they're like, there's a gate to the cells, and then the cell doors, right? And the geezer that's come in, he's knocked him out, but the other two have run out and locked the gate, right? So now they're shitting themselves. They're going like, "Don't hurt him, don't kill him, blah, blah, blah." Yeah, because he's threatening to kill. Oh, listen, I think this is all I need, yeah? So there's a fire going off, right? I've had to jack the screw by the scuff of the neck up to the gate, open the gate, shove him out. They're passing me the fire hose, right? I've had to go and put the fire out. They call me Fireman Sam. So I'm putting this fire out. I'll go beat you off on that, mate. What's the matter with that? Put this fire out, and then they've come in with the shields, didn't they? Because they've got white police. So they've got their shields. They're coming running in, but he's gone crash, 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 crash. Broke one of the shields. Oh, mate, this geezer can fight. B, do you know B from Scrubs with like mixed race B? He's quite stocky. You will know him anyway. But anyway, so this geezer could have a fight, but it was a powerful
So you
boy.
saw 14 years again.
I was thinking I'm getting 18. Got IPP. So anyway, the police have come in, the fire brigade have come in, they shut the court down. Okay.
Have they?
Yeah, they shut the whole court down. They've carried this geezer out on top of the shields, all braced up. They've carried him out. He's going, "Just ring my bird, Lee. Just ring my bird."
Gangster.
That's all he was worried about.
Gangster.
So they took him out. They put us in the opposite cells, and with women's cells, and so we're talking to birds from Holloway and all that. "Hello, kiss your number, wait." And then when I went up to court for sentencing, that had obviously been written down. And the judge went, "Listen, if you're quite capable of saving one of my staff's life,
Brilliant.
And putting out a fire,
Touch.
yeah," he said, "that's what's just got you no IPP today."
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what saved. And I swear to God, if that ain't God sent, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Right? Now, not only that, my missus is a clairvoyant, or was my ex-missus is a clairvoyant. Right? She had her own shop and she used to do all the stars and stuff like that. And I've never believed in any of that stuff, to be quite honest. But she kept telling my brief, he's only going to do 3 years. And this is when the woman's saying he's getting 14-year IPP.
Yeah.
So now my barrister's going, listen, you're deluded. You can't be saying that to him.
She went
He's
out
about
with
to.
Why did she went out with you?
She had to be, didn't she? You know. She was going, no, he's only going to do 3 years. And he was going to her, my solicitor was going to her, listen, if you say that to him, you're going to send him insane. You don't understand. He's just about to get 14-year IPP and you're telling him he's going to do 3 years. So you can't do that to him. But she was adamant. And what happened is I went back to prison. I was a B cat and I become an A cat. Then I was going to, was it Swellside?
Yeah.
And they was all asking me if I was all right with the 14 and 10 and whatever. And I was going, yeah, well, at least it's not IPP. I've got a release date. I'm over the moon. I'm getting back to my little boy. I don't care.
Yeah.
And so I was number one on the survey on the E-wing, and the screws called me into the office. Said, Elliott, come in the office a minute. Now I know what the judge said. Okay, on even the secure call that dragged me down said, "You happy with 10 plus 4?" Yeah. So I know what I got. But when they looked on the computer, it said
Reception,
6 years plus 4 makes 10. Right? I'm going, hold on, what's going on here?
Tell it, Ted, you didn't say it.
I'm going, what's going on here? So I rang my girlfriend up at the time. I said, you better come and visit. I need to talk to you really urgently. So she came up and visit. I said, listen, they're saying I've only got 6 plus 4 now. Like, you know what I got, right? She was going, yeah, you got 14. I said, like, I've got to do 10 plus a 4 extended, right? She said, yeah. She said, well, they're telling me I've got 6 plus 4 makes 10. Yeah. She went, no, that's not right. She said, but at least you know you're going to do 3 years now.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I done, 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
exactly
amazing.
what I done. Yeah, and they lowered my category, and I went to a different prison to the one I was supposed to be going to. And she told me what prison I was going to be in, next to an airfield. I was in the Mount, next to an airfield. Yeah.
She could have told you about the pilot.
She didn't tell me it was going to finish when I come home. Dear John.
She weren't that deluded.
Oh dear, best 3 months of my life. But so I whilst I was in there, you know, I got that sentence and I made the most of it. I'd done over 16 courses. I become a gas engineer. I'd done plumbing courses. I'd done all my maths, English, science, to do with the computers. You know, I've done all that sort of stuff, and I've got myself a job, got my driving license, and I've set up my own business. I've got my own gas business and stuff.
Turned
like that.
his life around.
Yeah, I suppose, but that I promise you, it was just seeing them kids' faces. To be quite honest, seeing the pain and hurt that I'd caused, not only to my kids, but to the victims, I suppose, and their families as well. Although I didn't like the victim at the time, but it's still his sister had to watch that.
Just in case you're wondering why I look like I've just walked out of Snatch. I'll tell you why he's a millionaire. He's got no heating in the effing studio. They keep putting his glass on. I did a big
Ex-millionaire.
Oh, mate, you want to see his studio? Like, they got ski jackets on and everything. I thought they were wearing headphones. They're earmuffs. They got earmuffs on. Mate, it's freezing in here like that. He's only doing that because he's white. Oh.
And they wonder why I wear gloves, the viewers.
Yeah.
Gloves. I thought it was con leche. We'll save that for later.
Yeah, so as I say, Shaun, I ain't a gangster. I've never been a gangster. My dad was a serious gangster back in the day. And I don't like the word gangster anyway, to be quite honest. Villains.
If we say gangster, let me explain something because people get confused. So when we say gangster, like what we mean is, for us personally, so if you're in science or you're into whatever, you're a bricklayer, whatever, you're the top of your trade. That's when we say gangster. We say you're a G, you're a gangster, top of the trade, top of the game. We don't mean it in the gangsters like going around causing problems, taking people's things. You know, we're not on that tip. You understand? So when we say gangster, it means G, like you've done well, and we're praising you, not the other gangster. So.
Yeah, and have I done bad things? Yeah. Have I gone to the extremes that most everyday people wouldn't go to? Yeah, I have.
At one of these prisons, there was a reception orderly that was behaving a bit peculiar.
Yeah, there was a very, very peculiar reception orderly. When I got to DCAT,
You're joking.
No, honestly, there was this
Blimey
guy.
him.
Well, you must do. It was you.
Oh my God.
It was
That's the only
you.
problem when you have different personalities living inside your head. Why are you laughing?
Who are we today?
I ain't decided. Who am I? I haven't decided yet.
You ain't decided
But
yet.
it's fun. No, but when you live with 3 different people and they all live together, it's murder. You don't know who met who and who went where and what said who. Sorry.
Yeah, so I met Mr. Fish in DCAT in Spring Hill prison. This is at the end of the sentence. And first day of my life.
Drop me out! Drop me out! I don't even know him!
I'll tell you what.
This is how we met! Fucking prison, can you believe it? Sorry for swearing.
Before I didn't want to go social services. As soon as I met him, I was running there.
Mate.
No, but we've
Do you ever
become
meet
good
someone
friends.
in the end when you've known them that long and absolutely gutted?
But we've been good friends for a long time.
Run it down, the story.
Okay, so yeah, I've gone to the prison and my youngest boy, Mason, his mum.
Go on, Mason.
The one that
Gangster.
said I was going to get 3 years. And this was on that
Georgina?
sentence. Georgia.
Big
Yeah.
shout.
Big shout out to Georgia. Love her. And she'd come with me and she'd drop me off to the prison and having a kiss and a cuddle outside the car. There's a bit of time to waste before we get processed.
The only thing they weren't doing was taking off their clothes, the kid and the cuddle. They might as well have been dogging. I swear. I swear. Oh, if I was straight, believe me, I'd have been.
Oh, dear.
Honestly.
I'm good at what I do. What can I say?
what you do?
I learned that off my dad.
The Americans are
I
like,
call him George Clooney. So his dad's called George, but I call him George Clooney.
at this point, the Americans are wondering, what is dogging, Mr. Fish? What's Mr. Fish talking about?
It's having sex in cars in public places.
See? He knows all about it. And so do you. So don't start trying to get all that one. I'll see you at BMW the other week outside Clapham Common where all the old faggots are. I see it, mate. Fucking hell. You're another one up to no good in the bushes. Look at me like no. I noticed there's no denial. No denial. No.
That's a river in Egypt, isn't it?
And what about that what was that thing he bought on our podcast? That sex toy. I can't believe a man would
I
stoop
know.
so low. I
I thought it was a
horrified.
mobile phone.
So did
That's
I.
on the table. That was on the table.
So anyway,
I'll put a link in for the podcast to which Mr. Fish is referencing, where I was
You
interviewed.
do
on
not
Mr.
need to
Fish's
see it.
show.
It's
Yeah.
disgusting. Listen, I only came here today because it was Lee. I promise I'll never talk to him again. I
Great
can't
dancing. You should
believe-
see the dancing in this one.
I cannot
we
believe
all
what he brought
bust
to that
out
show.
properly.
Disgusting.
Oh,
and then he
wow.
was telling me about this and that and not using condoms. I swear, honestly, I have never been at such a lower point in my life.
oh, dear.
No denial.
No denial.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so we're having a kiss and a cuddle, and all of a sudden this black guy's put his head round the corner, and but it's not in a normal way. Someone would just have a look at someone like that. You know, with the big eyes, and they're going cross-eyed, and I'm looking over, and I thought, what's this geezer doing? Like, is it like a proper nutcase? And yeah, and I thought, like, what's going on? You know?
Bearing in mind, right, it's now 5 o'clock, okay? We're in Spring Hill. Hello, all the Spring Hill boys. Big up the Spring Hill boys, yeah. We now, it's 5 o'clock near tea time. I've now got to get him on the induction. I've now got to get his name, his senior. I've got to show him round the Nick. I have to, mate, come on, mate. It's 5 o'clock. We got dinner to get through. And he's sitting there.
I don't know the regime yet.
I love you, babe. I love you, babe. Fucking hell.
Well, so you know, I was making sure she'd come back next week. I'll be honest.
Mate, thank F. Oh, mate. That was
Yeah, so he's looking around the corner, and I said to my missus,
I'm not looking around the corner. I'm just looking straight at him, standing in front of him. Like, are you going to come today, mate, or we coming tomorrow?
"But you got to understand, I don't know who you are."
I'm married if you don't know who you are.
Yeah, it does matter. All right, because I wanted to kill you. I thought, who's this kid looking at me and my missus, please stogging for with mad cross eyes?
It weren't even good sex.
You know what I mean?
It was the worst fucking blue movie I've ever bloody seen.
Oh dear. So I thought, oh God, I ain't going to fight as I walk in this place. And like, this geezer's staring at me. So I've gone into reception and as you all know, Mr. Fish has walked in and, hello, mate. And I thought, oh, no. And he said, I'm the induction order. I've got to show you around the prison. Oh, no. This geezer's not only has he been staring, he's got to show me around the prison. So we got talking and found out that we knew same similar people and from the same area and got on really well.
Do you know what? I interrupt you. I would just like to say and dedicate this podcast. Now we're talking about Spring Hill to Grant Atkinson.
Yeah, Grant Atkins. Rest in peace,
Grant,
mate.
I'm going to make sure your son sees this. And Grant was a brilliant man.
Yeah, I loved Grant. One of our friends, good friends.
Grant was a big, gentle giant. And he was reception. Was he before me or after? Before me.
Before you, yeah.
Yeah, and he was the most brilliant guy. He'd always take you. In Spring Hill, we'd have van drivers that took the boys out to work. And he'd always look after the boys and take them to McDonald's. And he'd
go the extra mile, wouldn't he?
Yeah. And he died at such a young age. And I'd just like to say it on here now, like Grant and your son and your family.
God bless your family.
Yeah, we send
best wishes.
And also Baron.
Baron Noonan.
Baron Noonan.
Who are ya?
Baron Noonan without you, son. I mean, our
We were the three amigos in there, weren't we?
Yeah.
Me, you and Baron Noonan.
Without Baron Noonan, we would have been nothing. And Baron is one of the most intellectual guys you wish to meet on the universe. Very clever man. And I love you always.
He's in the Craze book and stuff as well.
Yeah, he's if you think we're gangsters, you speak to Mr. Noonan. He makes us look like a walk around the park. Trust me.
And he don't even need to try.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying with a lot of these people. We got loads of guys that we can podcast, but they don't want to come on. Yeah. I can understand them. It's just some scary shit. I mean, his dad, George hates it. I mean, his dad. Yeah,
I'm trying to get him on the podcast, but you got to understand about these old time gangsters. They won't go nowhere unless they're being paid. That's the truth. How much is in it for me? He won't go nowhere unless he's being paid.
Even for me, listen, unless Bobby Kasanga got hold of me and said, "Look, I want to do a thing because you're black and gay in prison," I wouldn't have come on podcast and started my own channel and met you, and I wouldn't have done none of that. Where we're from, we sit in the hole. We don't come out and
put ourselves in the limelight.
Put ourselves. It's not what it's about. But we got into it, didn't we? Suddenly realizing, well, it's not about us. We always wanted to reach a stage where we could help people, Shaun. And so with our stories and what he's saying now, and the same with Shaun, we don't promote. I had to laugh. We don't promote crime. We don't promote drugs. We don't promote prison. You have to understand, we're just telling you the avenues that we went down in life and where those avenues took us. That's all. We're not asking anyone to copy us. We don't want anyone to copy us. We're just telling you and hoping you can have a laugh. And through our intellectualism and our humour and fun, you can learn from yourselves and teach yourself.
And it is because everyday people don't do the same stuff we do in life. I've done things that most people wouldn't even dream of doing.
I wouldn't say. I mean, we are everyday people, and there are
for the adrenaline rush, though. No.
Well, we are adrenaline, but what I'm saying is, I mean, there are people we all come on these podcasts, every one of us, but there are some people that don't come on podcasts who are absolute loons.
Yeah.
Absolute
There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah. You got to remember there are people in prison doing natural life. And we're moaning about IPP 99 years. They're never coming out again. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, and they're everyday people. Show me one person, really, who's on a podcast, sitting in this room, who's not an everyday, we're just everyday people. Just that we led different lives, isn't it?
What about James?
James isn't even a person. James looks like he's come down and he's met human beings on the planet, lovely human interaction, and stayed. And he's now learned English. He's done very well. Can you show the camera to James? And can we get a picture? James, come here, James. James, come and say hello, James. Stop being. Come and say hello, James. Come here.
Come on, James.
James is the man that have you ever wondered how Shaun keeps his shit? Come here, James.
This is the man
This would
behind
not
the
be
scenes.
possible without James and Joe.
This is the man behind the camera that you never see.
That's it.
And he is the most politest, kindest, and I'll tell you what,
absolute gentleman.
his knowledge and wisdom said he's still an alien. So if anybody doesn't believe in extraterrestrials, here he is. They wear glasses, they got lovely hair, and they got funny smiles.
He's on trial at the minute for nicking 1,000 camera lenses.
Thanks, James. Gangster. And the other one, come on, Joe, don't try and escape. Joe, leave them on. Please leave them.
He's got a cable. He's got a cable.
What it is, now I love Joe because Joe, and I just want you to see,
Come on, Joe.
there are two extraterrestrials. This is Joe, and Joe is also, he's Shaun's backer. Another extraterrestrial, and notice he's wearing the coat like me, freezing fucking cold, because that type peanut won't pay the electricity bill. And let me just, stay there, James. This is why James is wearing. This is what I've got.
It's not my stupid sleep.
Look, it's pissed all over me. That's it. He's got drunk radiators. That's what a millionaire, and we're surrounded with this. It pisses all over you. And that, come here, and you're wondering why he's dressed like that.
Ex-millionaire.
Mate, off his nose. Stop saying it.
That's pound stretcher, isn't it?
Rebuilding my life
And these
from
two
scratch.
guys. The reason I show you them two guys because it's Lee's show.
I rent the studio. I have no control over the
We're not
heating.
ending, no, but the reason I show you them two guys because Shaun does loads of phenomenal amounts of podcasting, South Liverpool, and all the rest of it. And I think it's nice for you lot to see the people that put the hard work and the energy that make his life successful. And they're really nice guys.
Because they're the ones that do all the work, really. You know what I mean? Shaun just sits there in his new suit looking good. Look, pair of gloves on and all that.
I was paying you.
Like a Bond villain.
I was paying because if he ain't, me and Lee are looking for two cameramen in the studio.
No fingerprints, no. He's on it, yeah.
No fingerprints, no crime.
Mate, he's on his nut. Oh, God. Yeah, no, so I just wanted you to, that is what I look like. I'm at.
So you arrive in the prison, you meet the orderly, what happens next?
Meet the orderly, and he says, right, come on, I'm going to show you to where you're going to be staying. And as we walk round the corner, he says, well, I'm staying on the stairs. He says, wait.
No, hold on, you got this wrong last time. I've had about 900.
Chance to correct.
Yeah, no, we had about 900 people ringing me up in Spring Hill. It wasn't a big black geezer, it was a white fella.
Oh, is it the white fella?
Yeah.
It weren't just one, though, was it?
Jamie Rokins, this one's for you, kid, because you told me to pull him up, I pulled him. And what happened, I'm going to tell the story because this guy said that. What happened was,
It was a bit of a blur.
Jamie Rokins came to me, and Jamie was his first time in Nick. And Jamie said to me, Fish, what happened was, I always take him under my wing. We got training, me and Jamie, and great pal. And what happened, Jamie said, oh, Fish, this guy's beating up my cellmate. I said, for what? He goes, oh, something to do over spice or something like that, yeah? So what he'd done, I'm 58 now, 59, and Crash, this guy was 50 odd, 60 odd, and this white guy was an Irish lad, about 30. I thought he was 35, 40. He had smashed him up, and the guy had a broken nose and two black eyes, and I thought, no, you're taking the piss, but because I can't really get involved in something which is. So anyway, what's happened is I've gone down and I've seen the screws. I said, listen. You see what's happened to the old fella up there, yeah? I said, you've done nothing about it, yeah? I said, I'll tell you what, you're sending out a message that people can hurt old people in Nick and get away with it. So I said, either you sort it or we'll sort it. It's not an issue. So I've come out the gym now and I'm going back. I'm in Spring Hill. We're all out there. It's an open Nick, so all the boys congregate outside.
This is when we walk back.
Yeah, it was over you. Yeah, so I'm walking back with him. And I see the guy who bashed up the old man, talking to the old man, but he's right putting it on him. So I'm deaf. Yeah, you might not know, but I'm actually deaf. And what happened was, Crash, I said to Jamie, "Oh, what is he still putting it on him?" And the guy heard me. I didn't mean for him to harm. So the guy now, do you know what? I don't mind anything you do, yeah? I'm a fair man. But when you come at me like that, yeah? And go at me like that. Yeah. Mate, who the are you talking to? Are you on crack like that? I've just gone Crash. Oh, mate, I've hit him.
It was one of the best ones, though. It was a proper clean dig, and he was out for the count. And that was my first...
No, hold on. Let me finish the story. So I've gone Crash. Now, remember, I'm thinking this guy's 35, 40, picking on this old man, bullying him, right? So as I've hit this guy, he stood there for 1 minute, and then he's just gone Crash like a log. And I went, you see, you blah, 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 picking on old fellas. I'm an old fella. I'm 55. Come on, pick on me, you loon. And the geezer went, hey, you don't understand. I'm like, what? I'm 50 as well.
Oh, dear.
How's your father? Crash, it's all over.
So that was my first introduction of fish.
Oh, but you couldn't have made it up. Could you?
No, you couldn't have made it up.
But he was still a bully cunt.
Yeah, but when you're first walking in a prison and you haven't met a character like Mr. Fish before, and you walk in and the first thing he does is knocking someone out, and I'm like, come on, I'll show you where your cell is now, and you're just looking round. He's just like,
the joke
really
is
just happened?
You're supposed to actually get kicked out for fighting, but what the hell? Well, he was a bully cunt, and I'd already said this because if you don't, that's what's that because. You know, it's a liberty. You know what I mean? You're going to beat up like something. And the geezer cuts harmlessly. The geezer, two black eyes.
Yeah, he was an old fella. He was getting bullied, basically.
Do you know what I mean? You're just putting it on his fuck off. Why don't bully us?
Like we like the underdog, you know. We like the people that can't defend themselves, or you know, we look after them because why should people just take liberties with people that can't?
Yeah,
you know, defend themselves or whatnot. You know, we're not saying we're the hardest people in the world. There's many harder people out there than us, but we're not hard. But we fight for injustice. We fight for. Do you know what I mean? We've learnt the old school rules. We've learnt the old school morals.
Listen, it's not we fight with justice. There are many things we've done. What it is, it's just that you get your pals and your mates, and we all congregate. And sometimes, you know what I mean, if people are bullying them or hurting them with that. You know, then we step in, do you know what I mean? And yeah, I've always been like that, Nick. Anyway, if someone does something, but I take them down the healthcare. If someone does it, I've always patched them. I've always done that. That's just part of our.
That's who we are.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're nice people. We just don't like being mugged off or crossed by anyone. You know.
No. That's him, yeah. I don't mind being mugged off. I don't mind being cross. Law-abiding citizen. Okay. Okay. I'm not looking at 14 years. I don't mind being mugged off or cross. Okay.
Or didn't back then, should we say?
All we do is defend ourselves when we have to do it and treat people with respect.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. I'm fed up. I don't know, Shaun. You know, we've always fed up people. People say this on YouTube and that on YouTube.
Sticks and stones.
Yeah. Sticks and stones can't break up my names can't hurt me. Sticks and stones can't break my names can't hurt me. Sticks and stones can't break my they can't hurt me. Sticks and
London's craziest gangster right now.
What was the other song you did in the last podcast?
What?
You did a song in the last podcast. You had a noise that you made.
What piddly widdly widdly. You ain't remembered that. I think I put that in the chart. Oh, you ain't seen my other podcast where I put my record on, have you? I've got a record.
No, not yet.
I've got a record out.
Tell them what it's called.
We Know You're Sexy. I didn't want my podcast. We Know You're Sexy.
I think he was writing it about me, I've got to be honest.
Soul and love, sex and fire, brilliance, happiness, love and desire, screaming a dream, burning the mare. Love is in the mind and love is in the air. Cause I know I'm sexy. We know you're sexy. We know you're sexy. We know ya. We know ya. We know you're sexy. Every day I look in the mirror looking at my face. I look a while and begin to smile. Cause I got class and I got style. Cause I know I'm sexy. We know you're sexy. We know you're sexy. We know ya. We know ya.
Watch out. Top of the flops. Here we go.
Oh, it's coming soon. I just need a publisher and a producer. It's coming soon.
So you get to your cell. what happens next?
Oh, wow. Well, we get so
He
short.
thinks he's a member of the scientific bureau. You know, he's trying out THB and FBI and all right, man. He's like, look at me laughing. Go on, crack on.
No, so I think we just had a party in there, Fish, didn't we, mate? We just had a party. We just
had a big beatbox, didn't I?
Yeah, we overtook the prison. We stood on dinner tables,
mate.
getting the prisoners to up.
Oh, come on! Listen, this is Bird, man. Listen. This is. I was speaking about Bird the other day, and someone was saying, about white supremacy. Listen, I said it's my second home. He says, listen. What I was trying to say to people is quite simple. Look, don't choose a game which is gonna end up behind the wall, and then when you're behind the wall, start crying, and it doesn't work like that. You gotta know.
You gotta accept.
Yeah, you gotta know the consequences of your game and where those consequences are gonna lead you. Otherwise, I've always said it to people: if you're not prepared to do Bird, then come out the game, because I don't understand.
If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. It's the oldest saying in the book.
I don't understand. What's the point of doing something if you're going to hate the downside?
It's the cost of doing business. And even if they got you for something you've not done and you've got away with everything.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
You still have to accept.
Yeah, it's not you're in the game.
Yeah.
You're in the game.
Yeah. But I just, so many people.
I just like the walks of life, the people I meet. That's what I like. I like staunch people. I like people that you'd have laughs with and maybe have conversations that you couldn't have with normal people. You know? And I just like.
You meet a lot of people like that.
I like the respect. Yeah. I like the camaraderie. I like the way old gangsters, if you like, carry themselves.
And what the problem is, I always say to people, Joey Barnett, who was on your show, you know, Joey.
Oh yeah, he just sent me a message.
Yes, Joey, gangster.
He's coming up. He's coming back on.
Him today.
He wants you to come on with him.
Oh my God, Joey, don't do it. I spoke to him. Joey's a gangster, Joey. But what was I just going to say? Like, what did you just hit off that point there? Sorry.
What was I saying?
So you were saying, I was asking you about when you got to your cell.
No.
And then you said about the staunch people and all that. Yeah.
Okay. What I was trying to say is, see, like with us and me, I can come on these podcasts now because it's over. But we're called the last of the dinosaurs, and our generation now, it's over. Like they're either too old now, or they don't want to take the risk of going away from their families. And so for someone like us who's used to being around good people and staunch and those people, villains,
the old school,
it's lonely now. It's very lonely. It's funny when you give us a stage and a podcast to tell our stories, but if we're not telling our stories here, where are you telling them?
That's right.
So it's very, very lonely, and a lot of them now, you know, they're all great, and it's sad to see them now.
It's sad. It's a generation. It's an era that's dying, isn't it? That's why I feel my dad on my channel, Real London Gangsters, and it's to captivate what they've done and who the people they are, the story of their lives before they're gone. You know, because there's only so much of that I can carry on with my son. You know, obviously it's inbuilt into me, into my blood. The respect and stuff like that, but it's only so much that fades away after generation, especially if you're not in the game no more and you're working. And
that's what I do with Wildman. He's got like over 100 videos on the channel, so he lives on now in all the videos that we did together. Yeah, and
that's how it is. You know, I still like knowing the people that we know. I still like going to the places that we go to and stuff like that. And it's fun. It's a fun, exciting life. Don't get me wrong. Even though I'm totally legal and I work and stuff for my money, doesn't mean you can't still be in that circle, you know? It just means you've gone legit, that's all. And you still got them people around you. And I love the real bona fide. Shout out to all them boys that are still in prison and
not just that,
still riding it.
You know, when you're around the old school, like I said, it's lonely. So when you're around the old school and you talk to them and that, it's good because you get your strength back, your power back, because you're not used to talking to people. And then people wonder why you sniff or take drink or take that. It's lonely out there. You're not with your own people. You're not with proper people. Do you know what I mean?
People you could lay your life down with.
Yeah,
basically.
You know? And You know, for me, that's what I'm saying. It's when people. I see sometimes on YouTube comments and people go, "Oh, why don't you work? Why don't you get a proper job?" And it always makes me laugh when people do that. I mean, at the end of the day, not everyone's life is so great. I mean, we didn't. It's not like you chose to go into that profession. Does that make sense to you, Shaun? It's not like it wasn't planned. We didn't go, oh yeah, hi, we're going to be gangsters or villains tomorrow, or getting. You go down routes in life, and there are very many. You might go 10 different directions, and you choose one of them, and it's not really the one that you maybe wanted to choose or be, but you carry on with it because
Survival.
it's survival. You get comradeship.
You feel protected around in that circle. You feel that's a circle that you belong because they're all the same as you. They think the same as you.
Not all. There are dark soldiers,
of course.
Dark families, dark gangsters. They're very dark people. Do you know what I mean?
Sick individuals out
there. Sometimes you have to. You have to be a master of the
individuals out there.
You have to be a master of the dark to deal with the dark. Does that make sense to you?
There's like a trajectory here, isn't there, that you're talking about, where the old school villains were the armed robbers and they were highly respected.
Yeah.
But then the opportunity for the drug profits came along.
Yeah.
That's when
and then
the dirt comes,
they either decided to join that or be dwarfed by that because those guys had the wealth.
No, but wait. It's a little bit different. You have to remember with the old villain. You see, as I said to you in a podcast before, the government were very smart. The government realised how the old villains would recruit, and so they built Belmarsh, and then they put all the villains there. So they cut off that recruitment line. Does that make sense?
Flying squad and all that.
No, but they cut off the recruitment line for gangsters, for villains to recruit people, and and then when the villains all became imprisoned, barred, and the police managed to take control, then like you just said, drugs became a money earner. But with that becoming a money earner, what you also have to remember is the rules of the game went out the window. Do you understand? Like grassing and all the rest of it all went out the window. And so that is why I saw a program once, and a Peckham kid said, "Them old boy there, them have to pay someone to get someone on there. But see us, we bun man for nothing." And I was like, that's where you've just made the biggest mistake of your life. Because if my boy was banging trouble here, or you in trouble here, or anyone I know is in trouble, and it's life-threatening, then we have to do what we got to do. Do you know what I mean? If it's our pals, our brother, my brothers, my family, we got to do what we got to do. It's not...
And that's the difference. It's just having the balls. It's just having the minerals to go that way, to go that extra mile. Do you know, some people just wouldn't do that because that's not in their DNA. That's not in their makeup, if you like. Whereas we, like, if we have to go there, we're prepared to do that. And it's as simple as that.
That's what I think the big difference is today. I think a lot of people don't think about the consequences. That's what I think is a massive drawback. And the second thing is, people are roped into it now. Like, with us, when you used to have a gun, an armour would have the gun. And so, like, me and you had an argument, and you called me a silly bastard, and I've gone back to Lee, and Lee's got the armour with the guns. And I say to Lee, right, Lee, I want a fucking gun. That cunt... Oh, sorry. That donut, Shaun Attwood, he told me this. I'm going to blow his nuts off.
I say, no, Fish, you're a very naughty boy. You can't have that gun.
Why would you treat me in such a disrespect?
You can't have the gun. You're shooting him for the wrong reasons.
What can I shoot him?
Does he owe you money?
What can I shoot him? So, in that respect,
sorry.
Yeah, but in that respect, that is. But in that respect, that's what we're saying about the game now. It's the game. It's and you know what? None of us old school. Not you, me, or Lee. I'm Joe and Joe. None of us can. We can't even put down this generation, and you can't put down the way they are, because each generation was looked down upon by the up generation before. And so if this is their time and this is what they've chosen is how their time's going to be, then we have to let them work it out, just like we've had to work it out. You understand?
Government policy's got a lot to do with it.
Yeah,
Close down the youth centres,
no.
create an illegal market in drugs,
We're not.
show them all the ads where you got to have this and that.
Sure. We're not. We know that, but what I'm trying to tell you, I understand that, and I agree.
I agree.
But what I'm trying to tell you is, all us old villains and all these podcasts, like we got to start interviewing a couple of young guys now because it's not. That's why I love Bobby Kasanga because he gets them all on there. But it's what it is it's very sad for them now, because.
Look, if you look at it like this, right? If you look at it like this, a gangster to me, or a villain to me, is not what a person does, or not like a bank robber and stuff like that. It's not just about that. It was the way they all looked, okay, all in suits. It's the way the pub smelt when you walked into the pub. It's the way that it's the way the women respected their husbands, and had that respect because everyone else had respect for them because they didn't take liberties with their own. They were just trying to survive. They were just trying to get out of what they was in, and they'd be up singing in the pubs and, nothing was done that didn't need to be done. It wasn't done out of malicious. It wasn't done like to do with drugs and stuff like that. It was done because it had to be done. There were the rules.
Now everything's just scandalous.
Yeah, and now everything's just gone to pot.
But what I will say, because you know what, we missed the point, but I'm gonna say. There were a lot of gangsters' wives that got hurt. There were a lot of gangsters that got hurt because when we grew up in them times, we grew up watching John Wayne movies and people slapping their wives and throwing them to the sea. Them days where the woman stayed at home and the geezers were. It wasn't meant. But not everybody who defined themselves as a villain. Listen, there were bad villains. That hurt women, that hurt kids. Let's not glorify it just like there are in colour. Just like there was in colour, innit, and race, and innit, Shaun. Like you've been, there's good and bad and everything, and
it's human nature.
Yeah, and it's just.
At the end of the day, I'm just glad that I had kids. I'm glad that they were the reason that I got out of, because I could have been well in the game. I got to the limits where I could have done a long bird on, I was prepared to do anything the same as fish, but and not glamorizing it or thinking anything that I'm not, because I'm not, but it was just because what I got shown as a kid growing up underneath a gangster, a real gangster if you like. It's a lot to look up to.
Villain, George, I'm bringing back villain.
Oh, villain, yeah, shall I say. And
never said
it was a lot to live up to, people know who your dad is all around the place, and there's a certain thing you got to live up to, but that's never what I wanted. It wasn't who I was. I wasn't a gangster. I wouldn't.
How many years did you do inside in the end?
I've done exactly the same amount as my dad, 14 years.
All right, so you've told us one crazy story then from prison. What other crazy prison stories have you got?
How long you got?
Yeah, we've got all night. We've got all night.
But what I'm going to say, just before we get I know what I just said about the greatest thing, like George, is dad. And like all of them. You know what was great about us? We had this thing, respect. We didn't, like me, look, we don't go out trouble. We don't bad mouth no one. We don't, but you know what? If you bring it, we're going to bring it back. That's what we're about. I'm not interested in slagging you and slagging you. I'm not in it.
That's Andy, you got to sit in the car with me on the way home.
I know. Let's hope it's only sitting. But what I mean, is like, it's about respecting it and having moral and marching straight and grafting straight. You know
it is. I mean, some people might say, why didn't you have respect for the public when you was doing what you're doing and stuff like that?
No, but you do, but it's the life you're in.
Yeah, but old traditional villains, if you like, do have respect for the public.
Yeah, how many public do we say? How many times have I had to go out and got that phone call? I'm in trouble, And this is what I was saying some other day, talking about what you've done for people and all this. Hold on, stop. I've done loads of things for people. Half the people got their lives down to me,
and believed that and all.
Come me, but it's not something that we glorify.
Are there any of those stories you can actually tell us where you got that call?
Listen, at the end of the day, Shaun, what it is. Although we tell our stories, there's certain parts of our lives that we don't tell because one, it incriminate others, it could incriminate ourselves. And two,
Yeah,
it's not anything to be proud of. It's not anything to be proud of. And I'm quite disgusted, to be quite honest, in some of the things that I've done. But we're here to tell so kids of this next generation don't copy us.
I'll tell you what, I have one and it's fun. I'm going to tell this one that's it and I'm going to call it a day.
Yeah, go on.
A mate of mine rang me, my pal, and he said, "Oh, Fish, this guy is troubling him in this nightclub and he's asked him not to come in and he's still coming in." So I said, "All right, sweet." So anyway, I go to see the fella and see, this is what I'm saying with you. I'm not about gangsterism and that. We're nice people, and so I knock the door, and the geezer comes out. Yeah, like, what's that? What? What's that? What you go? Who are you? So I said, "Oh no, Mr. Fish is my name, and I've just come to have a friendly chat because my uncle owns the nightclub next door, and you were troubling him, and he's a bit scared, and he's got cancer in the family. I was just wondering if we could maybe call it a day or sort it out." And he said, What, you come for trouble? What, you come for trouble? He said, "Let me tell you something now, yeah, if you come for trouble, yeah. I know all, man. All South London, man. I know Brixton, man, Thornton, man, Crystal Palace, man."
I think it was a cab driver.
Don't it just hurt sometimes? Don't it just hurt? And so Crash hours your father. He said, "So if you want trouble, tell me, I just bring it and I'll bring it back." I said, "Look, mate, I don't want trouble." And this is where I'm trying to say, I'm not telling you we're members of Psychopaths Anonymous. If you think I'm a dealer, that's down to you.
That's your fault.
Yeah, I can't. I'm being polite. If you think my being polite with respect is a weakness, that's down to you. I can't keep blowing my trumpet. I can't. Listen, them days is over. Yeah, especially being an IPP. And so I said, "Look, mate, I haven't come in trouble. I just come to talk to you. I've been respectful." He went, "Yeah, good. I like a young black Cockney speaking voice." I said, "All right, cool." So anyway, I went back to my pal. I said, "Look, mate, he's going to come back to you because he thinks I'm a
dinner."
And my mate, and this is what my mate went, why? Look, why don't you do something? And this is what I'm saying with you. People think when you make that phone call, and I've had to do many, many of these trips, people think when you make that phone call that you're always going to go out there and use violence. It's not about violence.
It's about using your brain.
Use about everything amicably, sensibly, and reasonably. We only go to violence when we're pushed to that last bit.
When there's no other alternative.
You also got to understand, whatever you do to someone could be done to you. That's the first thing you got to understand.
Yeah.
Like, if you think some man can't come back to you and hurt you, you're in the wrong game. So anyway, Crash hours your father. 2 weeks later, he rang my mate and he said, he went in there with he went back to my mate with a gun, put it in my mate's face, and my mate rang me, and he told me. So I said, "All right, leave it to me." So anyway, my pal, what happened when we got a car, my pal, and we heard he was in, and we got loads of petrol, all up the house, and we set the house on the whole house, and they saw him coming out with his property, and all the family moved out, and the whole house was all boarded up. But my pal did leave a note on the gate. What do you think the note said? Now you have to remember, he said, "I know."
We asked you politely.
No. You have to remember, he said, "I know everyone. I know all, man." You have to remember, he said, "Crystal Palace, man, Brixton, man, Thornton Heath, man."
You don't know Fish.
No.
Was that the note?
No. Pity you don't know a fireman. And
why are you looking like that? Why are you looking like that?
Listen.
Why has he got to go that fire?
I mean, look. At the end of the day, I didn't want to have to go there. You pushed me into it. Do you understand?
There's so many dickheads out there.
Nicely.
No, it's not about being dickheads. Some people don't always see what they're dealing with.
Yeah. That's true.
They
as
judge a
well.
book
That's
by
true
its
as well.
cover.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
especially when you're polite and you're there, people don't always see how far you can go.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
people don't understand that. You know, I think they need to see the look. I dress all like this now, back because I'm on a podcast and everything. And I've started, but I used to dress, but I like being a nobody. I like being in silly tracksuit and looking like a tramp and walking through, and people not being seen.
Yeah,
You know,
not
I
noticing
don't
it.
like. I'm only back like this now because that's how I used to be, and I've retired from the game. But this is the way we used to dress. This is how we were always slick. We always marched properly. We always dressed crisp. Yeah. I used to have a big fat cigar hanging out. It's only because I can't find a vape big enough. I ain't got one hanging out. But yeah, do you understand?
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about stories, I've got loads of stories I can tell you. You know, we had a prison officer in Belmar, and my mate, my black mate came to me and he said to me, his brother was in Belmar. And so one day I'm boxing, I'm a good boxer in that, and the coach of the boxing club, he says to me, Crash, he's not in my knee. Careful. So this is it's all gone. This is history. And what happened was, you know, like I said, I've known my pal in the boxing coach for years, but he didn't know what I'd done. And one day I could see we're in the car and I'm looking at him and I'm going, saying, "Oh, what's up, son?" Right? And he's going, "Oh, no, nothing. And I'm in the car. I said, "Mate, what's up, son?" And he says, "Oh, fish." I said, "What?" He goes, my brother's in Belmar." So I went, "Yeah." And he went, and he's got a screw that he can get on the go. But in order to cement the deal, he's having a problem with this fella, and we need to go and sort the problem out. So I looked at my coach and I said, "Don't you know what I do?" He went, "What?" I goes, "What you got?" So I've gone out there, and my mate is massive, 2 great big balaclavas. He's got a machete and all that now. And all right, cool. So anyway, we've gone there now. We've got this block of fucking flat. We've got this fucking prison officer, and oh, mate. So crash out your father, 14th floor. I go up there, yeah. And I said to this prison officer, "Do yourself a fucking favour." Sorry for swearing. Don't, I hope you can edit it out. I said, "Don't." Listen, I said, same what his dad said to him. Same what your dad said to him. Don't spark out. You should have done it. Yeah, I said to him, yeah, the same thing what his old man said. I said, "Listen, mate, when that, you know, we're 14 for all that, yeah? Crash him, just crash him. I'm not in all this talk business, yeah? I'm not a talker. Let's just do what we got to do." But as soon as you open the door, "What you done my mother for? What you done my mother for? What you done my mother for?" I mean, "Oh, get out, crash now up." All right, I pulled all the phone out, and the bird was pregnant, and I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake." You know, you never hurt women and kids, it's the law in it. So we had to gently put her. And, you know, we got it sorted, and then I had to wait there because, you know, them two were there 14 floors down, and someone could call the old bill because there's commotion. And as I was waiting there, the kids went, "Yeah, I'm gonna do you." I went, "Yeah." You know, and then when we got back in the car, my mate said, "Fish, what is it you do?"
Well, that's a long car journey home, isn't it?
He's a stylist.
No, it's.
I think when you go to prison, Shaun, right? To your answer, okay. So when you go to prison, if you know about prison, like I did through my dad and through his friends, and Fish does through his friends and stuff, then you get to know how to deal with prison, right? So first for me was always getting on the survey. So I had my grub. Number one on the survey. Always, as long as I had my grub and my training, I was sweet. That's all I worried about. Yeah. And it's a good job to have because you're out, you get your showers and stuff like that. Okay. But then the screws get to know you. They get to know what you're about. They read your record and blah, blah, blah. And once they've seen you have a couple of fights and they know you're a bit tasty and stuff like that, then things can happen in there, like nonsense need to be taken care of, and like people that have done bad things, you know, that need to be taken care of. And they come to the people like us, okay? Because we're
not me.
Because we're savvy. We're old school, you know. We don't treat the screws with disrespect. We get on, "All right, Gov, how you doing? Yeah, sweet." We just want an easy bit of bird, you know, and that's how it was when we was in there. and because they knew who he was and
But-
things like that, they'd get you to do stuff.
I had to laugh because Liam Ditchfield, I'll never forget, he said my name was in his paperwork, and he said I wrote a note saying his name and all that to the screws, and I had to laugh because, mate, I could be doing 300 years by now. Do you know what I mean? Man? You understand? The grass is just like, come on, mate. But it just shows you, like, at first I thought they'd set me up, and then I'm looking at it, I just think it's a crosswire because I took the guy down there. But it just shows you how you can, how your name can be brought into situations beyond your control. Do you know what I mean? And get out of hand.
Yeah, there's upsides and downsides to both of this world.
You know, so it's you have to be careful what you do and how you're going about it. But
you can't really go off what the guards write down either, can you?
Sorry?
No.
You can't go off what the guards write down. They're just going to put it in there.
Well, no.
Try and drop people in it.
The problem with the scenarios, I was saying, I mean, I said I was going to interview him, but everyone else on my book, I don't bother. It's a waste of time. It's not worth it. It's damn. I know. I mean, the thing is, first you got to ask, well, why would someone want to hurt you? And screws ain't got no better. Listen, in every nick I've been, everyone's always known. It's natural. Everyone knows the fish. If there's kicks off, someone's in need of attention. Sometimes the boys can't make that right decision. I will make that decision and go, all right, fuck it. Yeah, and I'm putting myself in because my name then goes in that paperwork. My name goes, Andrew Brown brought him down. Remember, they first think I might have stabbed him. I might have done this. I might have done that. So my name always gets brought into it. But that's cool because I know I'm not doing nothing here. So we've always been like that. So, you know, for them to make that a crosswire like that. But as I said to you, the only reason I could even confront him instead because I knew it was staunch, I knew it was proper, but it just shows you the headaches that you go through, and you know, if things do go wrong, you can put you in a bad light. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but you have to take it on the chin and go bang, bang, bang. You know what I mean? As long as you know you're staunch and proper, then that's what it's all about.
And anyone watching this, nobody doubts you guys at all.
I do. I doubt myself all the time.
One of the most common questions we get then from the viewers, which you just touched on, is what happens to sex offenders in the UK prison system?
They get kettled.
Which means what?
It means you boil a kettle, you put hot sugar, you put sugar in it.
No, hold on.
No, that's what they get, mate.
No. He's jumped the gun a little bit there. They do get that eventually, but I thought when he said kettled, he was going to tell you what actually happens, which means if you're in 1O, which is short for Wandsworth, and you're an A, B, C, D, and E, no, it's E, they're the 5 wings for normal people. When he said kettle, I thought he was going to talk about G, H, and K, which means they're all separated from the normal offenders, and they're all put over there. And that kettle, that's what I thought he meant, kettle.
Oh, kettle, like what you boil, yeah?
That's after. But what I'm trying to show you, he asked what happens to them when they actually come in. Is that not what Yes. And so they get kettled, so they're separated from the rest of the property.
They go down the block or on the numbers, isn't it?
No, they go on the numbers. G, H, and K.
So how do the inmates get them then when they're out going to court and stuff?
So what he just said, what happens is, okay, brilliant. Do you know what? Brilliant question. Fucking class. Okay, right. Now, you want to talk about the game? Here's the game. In the old days, yeah? Listen, Shaun, him, Joe, we were all in the game. Yeah? Not up north knew London knew south knew up London, everyone knew everybody in the game. If you was anyone in the game, you knew everyone, yeah? So now, if I am coming down the road and I'm coming to London, yeah? And I say to Lee, I'm coming out to London, yeah, mate, they're shipping me out because I've chinned an officer. Shaun would ring Lee and say, nah, Lee, he's coming up because he's a grass or he's a nonce or something. So we'd know. So by the time I got to Lee would cut there, and done. Yeah, you'd know. So you'd be ostracized.
Even before you got through the door.
Yeah, you'd be ostracized, everything, yeah? So now it's a brilliant question what you just... And so now, what the headache is, nobody knows anyone anymore, yeah? So crash, a fella can come from here and tell you, like, he's got shipped down into this nick for this or
whatever,
that.
yeah.
But really, you're a nonce or you're a rapist or a sexist. Yeah. So you're mixing with the people. And then what you asked, that question, what happens to them? They get sugar and acid and all that in their face, okay? And they get burnt, and they get hurt, and they get stabbed. Yeah.
They have to surgically remove their clothing.
And screws,
basically.
and screws turn a blind eye, okay? So
Screws tell us.
Yeah, okay.
Right, there's a man in there. He's just come in. He's done this to a so-and-so girl. We leave the door open.
But you have to be careful.
And the cameras are turned off.
But you have to be careful when a screw tells you that. Because let me tell you now, sometimes a screw could have beef with that fella on the out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you've done it, an innocent fella, weighed him right in, and now you're looking at fucking 16 year, 18 year, look for assault.
Is that where the paperwork check comes in?
But you've always got to know exactly what they're in for.
Let me explain about paperwork. And this is what I'm saying. The paperwork's a dodgy one.
Yeah, paperwork is a dodgy one.
My name got into the paper. That's what I'm trying to show you.
Yeah, but that was just some bullshit report, wasn't it?
You don't know. It doesn't matter.
Actual charges, convictions.
It don't matter. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's different.
That's
what I'm saying is, not always paperwork can't always tell you, and paperwork make mistakes. And paperwork's great and wonderful, but not everything that's in the paperwork is correct. And I remember when I've done paperwork and I've done, I've seen them. How many times you go in there, the police have said something, no, that's not right, and they've had to take it all out.
Listen, you know when
the police can jacket anyone with anything. Yeah. But when someone gets convicted, it's headline news.
That's what I'm saying. When it's the headline news, and once you've got certain officers on the wing, so you've got PO and SO and stuff like that. When you've got the top officer looking down on this person, because they've got kids. You know? Yeah. And you can see the disdain in their face when they're walking on the wing. Like, they don't even want to come near them.
But they're walking on the wing of normal population. Yeah. That's why the prisoners have got the You think you can hurt their kids, hurt their women, and now you're walking amongst them and nothing happening. That's why people get the fuck.
It don't happen like that.
So was there any high-profile ones who came in?
Yeah, Roy Whiting, the one that killed the little girl.
What's his name?
He come from Brixton. They closed down the paedophile wing in Brixton.
The comedian, man, we didn't one of him as far as the comedian.
Oh, comedian, famous one.
The artist.
Rolf Harris.
Yeah,
was he there?
Yeah, Rolf as well. So what are we talking about?
But that Roy Whiting come from Brixton. They closed down the paedophile wing and they come to Scrubs. They put them on D wing. And when I was on the survey, he killed them 2 little girls.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whatever he is.
Was he like the caretaker or some shit? Was
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
The caretaker.
And he'd killed the little girl or whatever. And when I walked on with the trolley, the survey trolley.
What do you mean?
No, I didn't meet him. He was on the wing. And the screw said to me, if you shut up for 5 minutes, let me speak. But what he said, the screw said, whatever you...
No, that has really crushed me.
It don't shut up for 5 minutes, does it?
It's really crushed me and hurt me.
Right, listen. So the screws don't want you to shout out who's on the wing because they know it's going to cause murders, yeah? So what's the first thing I do? So Roy Whiting's on the wing, sir. He got stabbed up that afternoon. It was brilliant. That's what you have to do, isn't it? Yeah.
How long did he last after that?
He lasted 24 hours. He got stabbed up that afternoon.
Really?
Yeah, after I shouted.
Wow. What happened to Rolf Harris?
He drew a picture, didn't he?
What? Oh.
He had a lot. His painting got better. His art got better. He had a lot more time to. What time is it anyway?
We're fine. We're only 30 minutes in. Get some prison stories out, you guys.
Is he having 30 minutes? He always thinks we're one of his 5-hour podcasts. He don't understand. We got to get in a spaceship out there and go back to Venus. He doesn't understand.
What about one last crazy prison story then?
One last crazy. Okay, so the last time I went in, the first time before I got on my second GBH, and I've walked onto the wing, and now because when we was there before, it was just older inmates. The juveniles were in Feltham and places like that. But what had happened, they'd lowered the age or something because the Feltham was too overcrowded, and they started letting the youth in. So you've got all these young guys in. They're all in gangs because to protect themselves and whatnot. And I walked to Scrubs. I've gone straight onto C wing, and I see a screw because sometimes there's always a screw there that's been there the whole since I was in Feltham. Like he's been there, you know. Like, and now he's a governor and all this. And hello, Elliott, how you doing? I've gone, hello, governor. I've walked on the ring. And as soon as I'm walking down the lane, it's straight away. And this is I'm talking. As soon as you get into prison, someone getting it straight in the neck. You know, just straight in the neck, and you see the blood pissing out. And I just think, Welcome back to Scrubs. But it's just got worse now because the youngsters, the youngsters
Well,
go
it is,
around
it's
in
cool.
gangs and they're trying to have people up and it's the stabbings.
I got
and
caught
stuff.
masturbating on the phone. To go
Crazy
porn.
prison story.
Yeah,
I did ask.
Well, no, and Craig was there. You got the phone.
Who was on the other end?
sex line. My cellmate.
Double entendre.
My cellmate.
His name was Pedro.
Pedro.
His name was
Which-
Pedro.
Well,
Which end?
I'll have you know. I'll have you know. We did have mobile phones,
Yeah.
and we have porn.
Yeah.
And who's on the other end? And so we're smashing.
What the end of your dick?
Yeah, and Crash How's your father? The fucking night screw, man.
The night screw?
Yeah, normally.
I've had the woman catch me.
No, but have you?
Yeah, I've had the
Lucky.
woman.
I had a bloke catch me.
She went, oh, stay there for a minute.
Oi, I said to my one, you cheeky, you didn't even put a penny in.
No,
You know what I mean? I'm taking the piss. But anyway.
It's not free.
Did you get written up?
What?
Did you get written up?
Yeah. So I went. Oh, it's blinding though, because it was gay sex, of course, innit? And he's like that, and this geezer, they're like, oh, this guy was laughing. They were still bang at it when he's grabbed the phone. He's
You're in
like,
the where are you at this moment? In the cell, in the
yeah,
shower?
in the cell, like
Yeah.
late at night, I missed the roll call, innit? So
I
laughing?
don't want to be here.
I missed the roll call, when you do the check. I thought it had gone, but I think this one must have come on lately.
Trailer.
Do you know what it is for me?
So they must say he's gone. Normally you hear him, innit? But I ain't even I ain't even heard him.
Because you're making too much noise.
Is that the noise you make before you come?
Oh, mate, that was
Oh,
no,
come
what?
on. Let's not
You
go
don't want to
there.
hear the noise. But anyway, yeah. And don't look so disgusted.
Do we have to tell this
That's
story?
what happened.
Do we really have to?
So anyway, what happened was they come in there, but they grabbed the phone. I'm laughing, because I know it's all gay sex. And it's like, oh, disco. Anyway, what happened was I was in Wellingborough. And the problem with Wellingborough, yes, the Wellingborough crew. The problem with Wellingborough is there was no law. The prisoners kind of run, because what happened was Wellingborough was shutting down. And so when I've always been induction every nick I've been in. So when I got there, what happened was I'd managed to turn the nick around. So I told everyone, look, you got your phones. Fucking there's me telling them I not got caught. So I'm telling them, you got your phone. Make sure you have a good stash. You know what I'm saying? Make sure the officers don't find it because, like if they find it, you fuck the whole
Don't be
nick.
wanking to gay porn.
Oh,
I'm glad I weren't at that prison. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I was wanking.
Oh,
So anyway, so I'm telling them, hide your phone, don't hit officers, you hit them, then you fucks it up. That was a good induction. So what happened was, when I got nicked with this phone,
It knows.
You're ringing, mate.
I'm not wanking again, am I?
Sound effects.
Oh no!
You ain't done
Especially
that on
for
a
the story,
podcast.
sound
have
I'm wanking again.
Turn it off, mate.
So anyway, Crash How's your father? I've got nicked. But the problem they had at Wellingborough is the induction was so good at it, and all the boys, and we kept. It wasn't just induction. I mean, there was a fight in Wellingborough. Fuck's sake, a fight, Lee, with a Magnum. Is that what they're called, Lee? The champagne bottle.
Yeah, Magnum bottle, yeah.
With a Magnum bottle, yeah, mate. Where the fuck, Lee, do you find a Magnum bottle with a nick?
Well, it's someone's birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah, but a Magnum bottle.
It's
Come
been-
on,
It's
mate.
been brought in, obviously.
So anyway, they're crashing it. So the screws are shitting themselves in it. So I've had to go in, crack, sort it all out. Look, come on, boys, fuck's sake, what's up? You're going to get 9, 10 years stabbing somebody. And so because I was always in that role in Nick, so I always kept the peace. You understand, like for everybody, that was all I was about in Nick. Like I don't want to hate seeing people hurting other people and getting themselves more burden than what they got to do. And so when they adjudicated me for the phone, I had a headache because if they'd adjudicated me properly, lots of work, get the sack and all the rest of it, the induction would have gone downhill. And so I think I was the first person in history to get like a £10 fine for a phone because they needed me to
Yeah,
keep
to
the
roll
peace,
that.
to keep
Yeah,
the peace, and and to get everything together.
Prison's the survival, isn't it? You don't say each day, but I've seen the worst things in there. People killing themselves, and God knows what other people get killed, and like it's a place where you can die.
Killing themselves over what?
Mate, I've seen a geezer
hanging themselves.
I've seen a geezer cut himself from there to there.
Yeah.
Mentally ill?
Okay, no. Mentally ill. I wish it was mentally ill. Mate, this geezer could suck. So I've gone out there, they called me up, the boys have called me. I said, what's up? Because Fish was going there. I go, this geezer covered in clacker. I go, what the fuck are you doing? I can't see my mum. I said, can't see your fucking... Oh, sorry. Can't see your mum. I said, man, you're in here. Where your mum? Where your dad? You don't need to see your mum. I go, fours to get the guy. I mean, people do things for the most stupidest things.
Because they think they're going to get them out. You know, they think that they're going to get released.
Yeah.
I know someone, right? When I was, especially Felton was worse than adult jail, really. But I know someone that had made a plan with his cellmate, because back in the day, if your cellmate killed himself, you'd get released, right? Because of the trauma. And so the boy wanted to hang himself, but didn't want to hang himself. So he was just going to pretend, if you like, or get to that point, and then the boy was going to get released, yeah? He was trying to help him out, but the boy died, obviously. And the trauma from the other kid that wanted to get released was so much, he ended up killing himself and all. So they both killed themselves in the end, because they couldn't take what each other had done.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I've had it all, Shaun.
People, I had an 19, 20 coming swell side. See, that was the thing with me. I always used to see an induction. It weren't just about induction. All of you, would all have different reasons for being in prison. But I'd have to also see your mindset. Do you know what I mean? Like
how you're dealing with it.
Yeah, and how you are. And so in swell side, being the nick it is, big up the swell side, boss. You have to be very careful that you're not throwing a weak person into the lions and somewhere where they're going to take liberties. You've got to. So what I'd always have to do was try and introduce you or meet someone on the wing and then see the boys and then try and do it that way. Do you know what I mean? So that when he came on,
integrated,
he'd have a little bit of help.
Yeah.
And so this guy was white and he was about 19, swell side with 21. So he must have been just 21.
21, yeah.
And what happened was a policeman had chased him for an ounce of coke, and he stabbed the life out of the closet. So anyway, I'm watching this guy. I said, "You're all right," and he's telling me, "Yeah, he's grinding." And I'm saying, "You sure?" But listen, come mate. I grew up on the street. Listen. I love the streets. I love the game. Yeah, I knew something ain't right. So he said he wanted to go with the Muslims. Okay, and they're all my pals over there. And so Hassan, gangster, boom, there. And so I went over to the boys over there. I said, "Look, I'm going to bring this white kid on for you." I said, "Do me a favor, like." You need to look at it. Just watch him for me. If you don't want him on here, tell me. I'll take him off, and then I put him on. 2 days later, found hanging in his cell. You know, this is what people.
But that's the reality of prison. It's all about how headstrong you are, and if you can take it mentally rather than physically.
It's all right killing someone. It's all right stabbing someone. Listen, it's all right. Anyone can do it. It's not hard graft. Anyone can bang. It's easy. No, I took it up, but it's not hard. Can you do the bird? Can you do the bird? If you do it because you're in trouble and it's back to the wall, or there's family issues and you've got no choice,
then I was sitting there smiling.
It's a different game. It's a different game because then you're going to march them landings
with a big smile.
But if you get a 35-year stretch. You get a 20-year stretch. You get a 15-year stretch. Let me tell you something. Every single day of that 24 hours of that now turns to 48 hours, turns into 3 days. What's after 48, Lee? It turns into... Come on, help me, boys. 60 hours. So they crash it. It's 3 days.
36, mate.
Is it? 36. You understand what I'm saying? No, 24 hours, 48, and then what comes up? 52. So, is it 52?
Crack on, mate.
All right, crack. 56. 58.
You was in prison long enough.
48. 48 plus 24. What's that? 72.
So anyway.
Didn't do his master degree.
The dealer, wheeler, dealer. Yeah. Even he can't get it right.
48 plus 24.
Yeah.
72, isn't it?
I don't know. I can't count, can I? Anyway, they're both acknowledged. What is it? Is it right?
Yeah, 72.
Oh, I'll get the clever one. So anyway, Cressy is your father, yeah. You know, you know, people don't. It's all right committing the act on the street. It's the other side what is going to hurt you. Lee's told you all this story. He got 14. He's lucky. He's lucky. Both of us were lucky. Listen,
very lucky.
Let me tell you, we're standing judge at the old, but we're just lucky. But at least with us, we marched the landings. That's the difference. March. Yeah, with fights with screws, fights with inmates, fights with stabs. It don't matter. We've done it all. We marched it all and didn't give up. That's because that's the game. But when you're not in this game, when you haven't been proper bred, like with your gorgeous George, when you haven't been brought up by your dad, when you ain't been brought up by listen, hang, self-harm, cut yourself.
Rape.
Yeah, rape. Okay. The whole lot in there. Yeah. So
just because it's an English jail, I don't think it don't go on because it does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I know people have had parcels, drugs up there.
Yeah.
Anus, and 4 black geezers hold him down and get a spoon and shove it up his arse to get the parcel out.
You can't pass it.
Yeah. No, getting it out of him, just robbing him.
Or just robbing him?
Yeah, just robbing him. Getting, like, holding him down, spoon up his arse, getting the parcel out.
I've got a parcel now.
Listen, I knew you was in there for a reason.
Have we got a spoon, Jay?
Anyone got a spoon?
You need more than you need more than a spoon. You're taking the meat, you are.
A shovel.
I'm with the shovel. Nah, listen, you know, I mean, hey, it's been brilliant. It's good today. I was happy that you invited Mr.
Yeah, thanks for letting me come, Shaun. Obviously, I mean, like I said, this story, I've been in the game. I'm not a villain or a gangster. I'm a law-abiding citizen now. Have I got friends that are still doing what they're doing? Yes, of course.
That's their choice.
That's their choice. But I'm on the straight and narrow. You know, my dad's old now. Just been telling his story, and it's just to highlight that not every criminal's bad. You know, not every criminal has one intention, and that's to hurt people or rob money and stuff like that. Every criminal has a reason why they're a criminal in the first place. Every person has a reason why they do the things they do, and I think to a certain extent, even down to the trauma I received as a kid, and seeing the things that I received, probably is why the lack of empathy is there, or why I can go to or could go to them points before, because I just didn't give a shit. No one had helped me. No one gave a shit about me. I'd seen violence all my life, so to me it was normal. You know, and I was prepared to do anything it takes. It's only when children come along and it changes you. And like you said, if you're gonna, that's why I'm not in the game no more, because like you said, you can't love nothing. You can't have nothing.
That's right.
You can't
love nothing, buy nothing, have nothing.
You can't have that because you could go away at any time. You're in the game. Yeah. So now I've got kids, and you know, it's funny when your kids grow up, they tell you about yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the lesson I had to learn. You know, you have to look at yourself and think, what do you think you're this big person? You think because your dad was a big gangster, now you're a big. No, I don't. Not at all.
Did you see guys inside get Dear John and how it got to them?
I've seen people kill, like I said, I've seen people kill themselves over Dear John.
Yeah.
I've seen people kill themselves, literally. And you know, do you know what was hard for me, Shaun? I used to have to read some of the letters to the boys because they couldn't read.
Mate, yeah.
They can't read.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're reading it and you realise before they realise what it says,
John, yeah.
Now you're the person.
Bad spot to be
you're
in.
the person responsible for destroying their life.
Yeah.
You know, and although you're their friend, and then can you imagine they killed themselves that night as well?
That's why they always lie.
And that's what I'm talking about, the mental side of it, Shaun. That's what I'm talking about, the mental, like to get through that. Like that to anyone else is like a big shock.
Yeah.
But like, hold on, the guy's just killed himself and you're not even bothered about it. I see it every day.
Yeah.
it's not a shock to me. I said he done it last week. He done it the week before. Do you know what I mean?
It's part of the game, innit?
It's part of the game.
Yeah,
but
people hang themselves.
I think that's what makes us a bit de-wired, if you like, to do things that we do. Because
if you see it, you become accustomed to it.
Yeah,
imagine if you started lying and more letters came in. You got to keep the lie going. That would be fucking
I always
crazy.
lie. He sees them dead. I mean, they all rolling around happy until they get out. Then they come in. I give him a chance. He just killed them.
you know, my mate was in a prison in Scotland, and all the schools used to open their mail, right? And they hated the English boy that was there, and we knew that, so we thought we'd have a wind up. We was on the outside, so we sent him snotty tissues that the screws. Oh, you dirty bastard! You know, he's opened it. We sent him a soaked beer mat in beer so he could smell the beer. He's going, "You're fucking racist man up there." Yeah, so. You know what? I wouldn't change my life for the world.
Ah, come on, mate.
I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah. Come on, mate.
Change it for the world. You know,
I'd rather die.
Yeah. Would I like to live in a big mansion with loads of money with a spoon in my mouth? Yeah, it'd be nice. But you know what? I'd much rather be in the dirt with the real people struggling.
Yeah.
And
you can't really say that. I mean,
not just struggling, but just people that are just real.
But when you go to life, listen. Whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you die, it's life, isn't it?
Spoon in the mouth, spoon in the arse.
Whatever life. That's it. Like, whatever.
Not for me, Shaun. Not for me, son.
Whatever.
Spoon in the arse.
See what I mean? That's what happened. Now you know why he likes to stay where he is. You're getting mugged off by these ex-millionaires who aren't going to, mate, can't even afford heating. He's fucking freezing in it.
Spoon in your mouth, spoon up your
I
arse.
suppose my fucking phone went off. It's so cold, the battery died. No, but you know, I mean, listen. Everyone walks different walks of life. Yeah, you're rich, you're poor. There's life. It's whatever life you're born into. You have to make the best of it and march. That's it. And then, you know, I think because you do know rich people, and you get, I mean, a fella you took me the other day, he's rich. You get on well with him. So it's not, I think, you know.
No, I don't mean rich like that. I mean,
he's very rich.
But I mean aristocracy or people that look down upon you.
No, but but it's not their fault if they're born into that life.
Yeah, mate, you're right.
Yeah.
Everyone's born into their own lives, aren't they?
That's right. I used to live on the 14th floor, and I used to look down on people all the time. Well, you know,
that's his best joke this week. Ding ding.
It's not my best one. It's not my best one.
No, the spoon one was.
Yeah.
Why have you got your gloves on when you talk to us?
It's cold in here, man.
Oh,
All of a sudden.
Oh, it admits it now.
Fingerprints.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so that's why you come in gloves.
And I only dress up for you.
But let me tell you something. Do you know what I see when I look at him?
What?
What's that? What's it called? Assassin.
Oh, Assassin's, the Assassin computer game.
Yeah. I bet.
You're the only podcast guest I always buy a new shirt for.
You see, he's got a tattoo on the back of his head.
He got it on the back of his head. He got it on the back of his head.
Right, come on, let's wrap this up.
All right, so the one final question then. It's a philosophical one.
Oh, here we go. Am I black? Yes, I am. Am I snake? No, I'm not. Am I gay? I don't promote homosexuality. What do you want to know now?
What is
fucking bringing us on these podcasts? He asks us all these questions. I thought he's old Bill.
What is the relationship between fear and respect in prison?
Between fear and respect in prison. A very fine line.
Okay, go on.
No, go on.
It's your show, kid. Hit it.
Okay.
Pull your chair forward.
Pull your chair
What's
forward.
the line between fear and respect?
Hit it.
Down, not up, down.
Because people got to have fear to have respect. I suppose people respect you for different reasons, don't they, Shaun? Do you know they respect the crime you've done? They respect how you carry yourself in prison. And you know, and if you've got a certain element of fear with that because of things you've done, then that obviously takes off a lot of the dairy, if you like. You know, it stops people.
Here we go. Enjoy the show. Carry on.
What's wrong with you today?
So is it better to be feared or respected?
Right, are you ready?
I think it's
Or respected with fear.
I think yes, exactly that. Respected with fear.
Are you ready? Okay, let's go on and finish.
Yeah, go.
Okay, this is the way it is. Yeah, keep it real, no big deal. Here we go. How do you feel? And then we're gone. Okay, keep it live. Here we go. Fear, okay, is conducted by people. It's held by people that are scared to go where you're not scared to go.
That's right.
Right? When they see that you've got the balls to do what they wouldn't do, regardless of cost or consequence. So people get scared of you. But when people are fear of you, it doesn't mean to say that you're a good person or decent, but it means that you're people scared of you. It means that they're not really your friends. Okay? Although sometimes they could be your friend and still be scared of you because I know you're an absolute loon. But what I mean is, when you talk about respect comes in many shapes and forms and shapes and sizes and forms. And so if you're going to, if you're going to go and bully people and take people's steer and take this and do that, people have fear of you, but at the same time, they might call that fear respect. So, respect is when you talk to everybody. This is how I see it. Yeah. Respect is when you talk to everybody, regardless of who you are, of who they are, where they come from, what they do, who they know, or colour. That's it. That's what makes you get respect or fear in a prison. You respect everybody regardless. And that's why we held respect, because we don't care who you are. We don't care what you do. We're not bigger than you. We're not better than you. We'll help you. You understand? We won't turn our nose up at you if you're in trouble. So when you talk about fear, the fear comes... Shaun, you go to prison, you're lonely, you're scared, it's scary. And so you need people like us who look after everybody and say, look, boys, put them in the corner, don't hurt them. Fear is a part of life. But as I told you in the first podcast, Shaun, look what happened to me, Shaun. I tried to die, I do 100 years in prison, and Shaun, what I tell you, I conquered my fear. And let me tell you, do I wish I conquered that fear? I'm sure about to cry then. Do I wish I conquered that fear? I can obviously tell you, I'm happy, but mate, maybe it's the worst thing I ever done. Because now, when I have no fear, it's murders. It's only because we got a good mindset that doesn't make me go out and do all the mad things that other people are doing. So when you are scared, and same with fighting, when people say to me, I don't give a fuck, they're not scared of getting hurt, they're not in the game. Because every single person, Gorgeous George, Lee, him, me, Marvin, Herb, all of us, we have one fear, which is the fear of getting hurt. And that is why we're good at what we do, or we die to the end, or we come out regardless of cost or consequence. And so when people talk about fear, never hate your fears.
It's good to have fear.
Yeah.
Keeps you sharp.
Yeah, control your fears and live with your fears and be happy you got them, because when you ain't, welcome to Psychopaths Anonymous.
That ain't that the truth.
You just don't need it. You just don't need it. Trust me. So live your life and be happy with who you are, and be happy with just respect everyone. Crack them. Bang!
And the moral of the story is... You ain't
got to ruin it. You go on, tell them. Go on.
Keep your day jobs, folks, unless you want a spoon in your ass.
That's not the moral of the story. He's a piss. He always has to ruin it. Anyway, how are you? We're so busy talking about us. Come on, let's how are you?
Yeah,
all good.
What's happening with
all
you?
good, man. Just
what's going on, B?
Filming endless podcasts.
Are you?
2 live streams.
Okay, here we go. Enjoy the show. He's gonna make a mind how you go. Watch the flow. Right. Okay, this is the question. Let's put it on him.
Come on, let's put it on him.
I put on his glasses.
He wants a deflection.
So I stay there. That's lovely. No. You're being Mr. Free Psychopath. No, stay there. Okay.
How's your fucking father?
Go.
Chris, how's your fucking father?
Listen, yeah.
I was marching on the landing one day. And this fucking screw.
Listen, stay in that mindset. Okay, here we go. Yes, done. Right, now, this is the question. This is the burner.
Put it out to him.
One.
Put it out to him.
Okay, let's see if he's got balls. Who is the best person you've ever podcasted? Woo! This is gonna be.
Can we have a vote
one.
on this, James and Joe? Can we have a vote?
No. James, you don't vote. You're cool. You got balls.
You got balls. Come on.
Best in what category?
No category. Just the one that you enjoyed the best.
Numero uno.
Just the one you enjoyed yourself personally that you love.
There's only one I've ever watched again.
Go on, kid.
Go on.
Shaun, the Knife Maniac.
Right, see you later, folks.
I knew you were going to say that. Don't you ever call me again. You ever call me again, I swear on my mother's life, I'll knock you off.
Right, we're out of here. We're out of it.
Yeah, you get out of it. Yes, come here. Dirt, filth. And there I was, coming all this
Who do you think you are? They told us to have you up. We're winners. Chicken wings.
And viewers. I hope you love these guys as much as I love these guys.
He's not his nut.
They've got their own YouTube channels.
No, we ain't.
If you could take any more of this, click on their YouTube channels and subscribe to me.
Where's my coat?
Subscribe.
What can you say me? Oh.
Funniest.
Oh. No.
Funniest.
The best.
That's it.
No. Well done. And you know what? Fair play to him, innit? To have the answer to, you know what? I know if I put that question to a lot of people, they'd have gone all around the world. So you know what, Shaun? I'll put my hand there, mate. Well done. At least he's honest. You know, I mean, for a man in his position to be that honest, come on, when you think of all the people that come on these shows and to say that, I think, yeah.
But there's never, ever
Yeah, I'll give it credit.
energy like this in the room.
Go away.
Except
You've got to have a bit of energy.
It took us about 4 hours to warm up. No wonder he has to get all these guests on each podcast for 2 hours. You're like that for the first hour and a half, I swear. Oh, mate, honestly, look at me, look at the state of me. Everything's war. The only thing we haven't got is the lamb.
and spoons next time.
And next time.
Absolutely, he's got glasses on. Oh, mate. Yeah, no, it is.
Now I've got my voice back. In the description box are links to both of their YouTube channels. Please, if you want more of this energy, go down and subscribe to Mr. Fish, subscribe to Lee. There's a lot more. You can actually see Gorgeous George getting interviewed on your channel, Lee. Tell them about that.
How I started it off, I just started videoing my dad. We was drunk one night and I started videoing him and getting to tell the old stories. And then all of a sudden, it started taking off. He was getting loads of comments. So I started doing a bit more serious ones. There's some funny ones on there, some stories you might not believe about him carrying dead bodies back on top of roofs of vans and stuff like that. Yeah, some amazing stories. How he's in Parkhurst with the Craze, Ronnie Cray and that, and he done all the party for Reggie's birthday and stuff. So if you go on Real London Gangsters, you'll see all these podcasts on there. More to come.
What is your channel called, Mr. Fish? And what can people find on there?
My channel is called London's Crazy Gangster. I only chose that title because that's how I got involved in the game. I mean, but my channel, you know what? I just like interviewing everybody. I think everybody's got a story, regardless of background, regardless of what you do, age, race, colour. I just love enjoying. I just like talking to people of every
Walk of life.
Yeah.
And out of all the podcasts you've ever done,
he's coming back with a question.
Okay.
Go on, who's the best podcast you've ever
who
done?
danced with you the best?
Well, the guy that really
Who danced with you the best?
the guy who danced with me the best. Oh, well,
That'd be me, wouldn't it?
And if you want to see that, this is
no
joke.
no,
This is on Mr. Fish's channel.
yeah, no, I mean,
I'll put the link for that podcast
I'll always laugh.
separate in the description box.
When we get together, it's not a podcast. It's just
It's coming to have a laugh.
It's just a laugh and crap.
We're setting the standard for podcasts.
Oh, I don't
This
know
sounds
about
podcast should be, right?
Exactly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever be onto your professionalism in the studio and the great. No, I'm being serious. But I just love doing it on the phone, and I love just going into people's houses and sitting there. And I love it on the couch. I just think it's more informal, more relaxing. As long as you can get a good story out. And so I've got one out today, which is about knife crime and just how the kids can defend themselves. Only 15 minutes because the battery went out of the phone. But
That first Charlie you had on, oh my God, I'm laughing all the way through
what's that one?
The Charlies? Didn't you have two Charlies
Charlie.
on?
Oh,
Yeah.
Listen, if you go to my site, there's a program called Charlie Norris, and some people.
It's just like prison stand-up comedy all the
Charlie,
way through.
Charlie is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
most, and Charlie Southgate, they're both. But Charlie is the most hilarious, funniest, down to earth. And I know some people close to him might have said, "Oh, listen," but Shaun's ready for you, Charlie. You just need, whenever you're ready, Shaun's ready. I mean, because
Yeah.
I mean, he's second to none.
I think we're going to get both the Charlies on.
Oi. Yeah, well, yeah, Charlie Southgate. Whenever you're ready, tell me, and I'll arrange it with him.
Yeah.
I mean, Charlie Southgate. I mean,
The second Charlie, we've already connected with him.
I mean, I mean, he's done 14 years. And
Yeah.
he's 31.
He's IPP, was he?
Yeah, he's 31. I mean, he still a
Yeah.
skit's an absolute lunatic. But do you want me to try and get hold of him for you? And try?
We've already got him.
Oh, you got him?
Yeah.
When's he coming?
He came.
Charlie Southgate.
Yeah, I don't know the
Oh, you
date.
done him? No, you haven't done him already. You would have told me.
No, but we've arranged it. It's arranged.
Oh, you arranged? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to go hold of him. Go, why don't you tell me?
Yeah, or it's in
I
the
didn't want you there.
it's in the process. It's in the process.
I didn't want you there.
No. Okay.
Anthony Roberts. It went through Anthony Roberts, that one.
Who the fuck's Anthony
He's
Roberts?
got half his ear missing.
So have I.
Bit like him. You know why he's got that, don't you? Because he's done 18 months, ear and a half.
I've always got to ruin my credibility. I don't like this guy.
That's why he's got it. I don't know, mate.
Didn't they give me back?
Nah, you ain't in my gloves, have you? See what this guy does? He just tried to nick my glove to. I must have them on my shoulder. I only threw them to there.
There, what's that down there?
Down there.
I can barely see through the glass.
He's got a on, hasn't he?
You tried to nick him. Where's the other one?
It's got to be down there.
You're there. Oh, there we go.
There you go. So, if you've enjoyed this podcast,
come on,
if, please let us know in the comments. Please let us know if you would like to see Mr. Fish and Lee back in the studio for more crazy prison and life stories.
Come back. Fair enough.
And then we got the guy who wants you to join him as well. You
Joe
mentioned,
Barnett.
yeah, Joe Barnett.
Big in the game. Boom, zum.
Do you want to see Mr. Fish come back for Joey Barnett Part 3?
Wow.
That would be interesting.
Good luck to the
Two of
viewers.
them, yeah,
You're going to need
it. Huge thank you to all the new subs. Subs logo is down there. Huge thank you to Joe, James.
Gangster.
Actually appearing in the podcast for the first time. Yay!
It's about time, and it always in the background. Hear me? Forget that shit.
So, anything else you'd like to say in conclusion to the people watching?
In conclusion, watching people, thank you very much for watching our channel and listening to our stories and stuff like that. Don't go to crime. Stay away if you possibly can. Teach your kids right and look after them and stay safe. Thank you very much for watching.
Brilliant.
I'd just like to say that England is a great country, and it has produced some of the best podcasters in and out the world. We have marched and said some of the best stories. We have gone down avenues and wells that only people can only think of. We have said things and done things that only those could imagine, that only those can think about, that only those can dare to dream about. We have done it all, seen it all, heard it all, and been it all. And we're never going to leave it all behind. There are times when life and challenges will confront you and hurt you and hold you back. But you will take those challenges on and face them and go forward and make them. You will do what is ever necessary within your means and go even further still. You will listen to tunes and music and food and highlights and partiality. You will go above and travel into the universe and travel across the world.
You know I'm sexy. You know I'm sexy.
He knows how to do it. He knows how to stop it. He knows how to stop it.
Oh, dear. Thank you
Big
very
in the
much,
game.
Sean, for welcoming us.
Gangster.
on.
We've done it
Always-
again. We've done
always
it
a
again.
huge pleasure.
Nah.
Take care, Sean.
Cheers,
Thank you,
cheers,
buddy.
fellas.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Sean.
thanks for coming
Cheers,
again.
Mike.
Thanks for coming again.
Can
Yeah.
you wear black socks next time? He's got socks to match his shirt.
Black and blue, isn't it?
Aye. Come on, King.